with me here is a lady that certainly carries an awful lot of responsibility. That's Mrs. Sheila O'Donoghue. And Sheila, you're chairperson of COPE in Macroom, is that so?
Macroom District. We have a committee there, and we raise some money for COPE, and we have been doing it for, I have been it in the last 3 years, and we're fairly active.
Now, how did you become involved in COPE first day?
Well, first day I was asked to go to some of the creameries to collect the butter. In those days we went to the creamery and we asked the farmer for the few pounds of butter. It's still going on, but now it's done through the lorry drivers. So that's how I first got involved.
And was that a very important source of income?
The farmers have been tremendous to us down through the years, and the sum we get in from them is just a terrific help to the organisation. And at this stage I'd like to thank them and ask them to keep giving us the extra pound of butter. It's very important. And for the handicapped, the more money we collect, the more we can do for them.
Yes.
You know?
Now, you were doing that type of work, and then how did you come to become chairperson then in Macroom?
Well, you see, there had been a little group in Macroom. They did tremendous work. Mrs. Collins now was involved in it, Nessa Lucy, Mrs. Cronin. They did tremendous work. And they were reorganising this committee, and they asked me would I give a hand. So I was asked to be chairperson for a few years.
And how many are actually on the committee?
We have about 20. You see, now it's Macroom District, and we have people coming in from Ballyvourna as well. Ballingeary and Inchigeela, they all are great to us, really, you know.
Now, one of the great events, of course, during your present tenure of office was the opening of the COPE Foundation Centre in Macroom, which was opened very recently. Is that so?
That's right. It was opened on the 29th of July. Beautiful building, the best that went into it, and I think rightly so. For the handicapped, that is all they have, really. So it's a beautiful building. The surroundings are lovely. That was done by COPE in Cork. They have a beautiful garden centre in Cork, and they laid out the grounds, and it's absolutely beautiful. We hope they'll be very happy there.
And the centre in Macroom, the idea of the centre then, Sheila, is to assist in keeping the children and the adults that are under COPE, to keep them in their own community.
Yeah, well, you see, the people that will be in Macroom are already been in Cork, and they have been trained really for whatever job they're doing. And they're coming back to their own community, which is very important. They're part of the community. You know, in the olden days, these kind of people were left in the back room and they were forgotten about. But thank God today they're out, and they're a great asset to the community. You know. Indeed.
And how many will actually be looked after in the centre in Macroom?
In the centre, eventually it will be 12. We'll be starting off at about 5. It takes time to get them. They have already been in Cork to get them into a new centre now. The people that have been taking care of them in Cork are coming out to Macroom with them, so that will be a help. You know.
So the trainers then are from Cork?
Well, they were trained, they're qualified people for the handicapped, you know.
Now, of course, a new centre costs an awful lot of money, Sheila, and I'm quite sure the financial side of it always poses a major challenge.
Oh yeah, like this centre in Macroom has cost 500,000. But like somebody said to me today, recently, a lot of money. It is, but like it's a beautiful centre, you know, and the best has gone into it. And it's up to us now to get some money to keep it going. You know,
you've contributed quite an amount already, even.
Just over 100,000, Macroom and District, you know. And the people have been very generous, you know. So we're grateful to everybody for that.
Well, now, I suppose one of the reasons for today is a contribution again, an additional contribution with all the other contributions that may be forthcoming out of today's event. How did this come about today now?
Pat and Terry Keller approached us. At this stage, I'd like to thank them. They have put a lot of work into this day. There's a lot of work in the background. People don't realise it. And they came to a meeting and they told us what they had in mind, and they would give their home for this day. So we were delighted, you know.
And there are a whole range of events, of course, today, aren't there?
Many, many. You know, like the sheep are supposed to be very important, and we have a little fashion show. And we'll have a little cake sale that the committee in Macroom are organising, and COPE from Cork have come out with their flowers, so it should be dog shows and everything. A big day for everybody.
Yeah. And the members of your committee now, there'll be quite a number of them.
They will be all here, please God, today to give a hand. You know, well, that's the spirit of the thing. You know, to tuck into it and give the hand. You know.
So continue with all the good work, and you're doing a very important job, and I hope that today now will be every bit as successful as it needs to be.
The sun is shining.
The sun is shining here. Well,
thank you, Barry.
Thank you very much, Sheila. Thank you. I should know that girl's name. Now we're here at the marquee, and inside there are a whole lot of very, very busy hands working expeditiously to try and provide a very important part of the fair, which is food for the fair. So we're going to go in now and take a look and have a chat at the work that's going on. Now we've just moved inside, and here at the table we have a whole lot of hands working very, very busily. There's ham going between bread and bread surrounding tomatoes and all kinds of things. And with me here we have Mary Ann Kelleher. Mary, are you expecting a big crowd today?
We are, hopefully,
Yeah.
and we hope the weather will last.
Yes. And how many sandwiches now do you expect to make today, Mary?
150.
150. Well, we hope that we'll double that anyway, at least. You're experienced at making sandwiches, I'm sure.
Fairly experienced at eating them anyway.
Well, when the sandwiches will be completed, I'm sure there'll be many, many hungry people around to eat those. Thanks very much, Mary. Now, across here on the other side, we have Kathleen, isn't it?
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, Kathleen, you're looking forward to the day, I'm sure.
I am indeed.
Yeah.
I hope it'll be a great event for them because they have a lot of work put into it.
Yes.
Do you know,
Yeah.
Pat and Terry are very good, really, do you know?
Yeah, and you like making sandwiches, do you?
I do.
You do. I'm surprised that you haven't roped in a few more men to help you out here. Oh, there, yeah, everybody, horses for courses, they say. That's right. Now we'll move up along here. We'll bypass a very busy chairperson, and we'll move up along here to, and your name is?
Sandra.
You're Sandra.
Yeah.
Sandra, and where are you from, Sandra?
Ballincollig.
How are you?
It's just
So-
staying here on holidays.
I see. And you decided to come along today and help out, is it?
Yeah.
Did you come directly from Ballincollig to here today?
I came up last week to help out for the week.
I see, and you're staying here with
Yeah.
Kelleher's, is
Yeah.
it? That's great. You looking forward to the day?
Yeah, it should be great.
That's good. Okay, great. Thanks, Sandra. And this is
Carol.
Carol. And where are you from
Ballincollig.
as well?
Yeah.
Is it? Are you looking forward to the day as well?
Yeah.
Well, you worked hard now this morning.
Yeah.
Good girl. That's great. Now, here on the other side of the table, I think I know this face, do I? Your name is?
Catherine Murphy.
This is Catherine from?
Dunamore.
From Dunamore. So we have people from Clondrohid, and we have people from Ballincollig, and now we have Catherine from Dunamore. Are you looking forward to the day, Catherine?
Yeah.
I am.
Very good day.
That's great indeed. Good girl. That's great. And here we have,
Marie Lucy from Ballincollig.
and Marie Lucy again. We have a great Ballincollig contingent, working diligently. She has hardly time to talk to me, I think. Have you? Good girl, Marie. Keep going anyway. Now we have a whole lot of I think they're hungry, are you? Because you're keeping a very close eye on the table there where they're making the sandwiches, and if you're very good, I'm quite sure there'll be some sandwiches available. What's your name now?
Lorraine.
Pardon?
Lorraine.
Lorraine. And where do you live, Lorraine?
Clondrohid.
In Clondrohid. Are you looking forward to today?
Yeah.
And what do you think today will be about? What will they be doing here today? All kinds of things, isn't it?
Yeah.
You'll have sheep pinning and terrier racing and all those things. So you're looking forward to that, are you?
Yeah.
Good girl, that's great. And your name is?
Patrick.
Patrick what?
Patrick Lucy.
Patrick Lucy. And where are you from?
Ballincollig.
Oh, you came as well with all the others from Ballincollig today, did
Yeah.
you? Were you ever at an autumn fair like this before?
No.
Were you ever on a farm before, Patrick?
Yeah.
Where?
My uncle's.
Were you? So you know a lot about sheep and
Yeah.
cattle and dogs and cats and all these things, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you looking forward to the day?
Yeah.
Yeah, good, goodbye. And what's your name?
Mandy.
You're Mandy. And where are you from, Mandy?
From Clondrohid.
From Clondrohid. You see that light, the red light up
Yeah.
there? And are you looking forward to today?
Yeah.
What are you going to do now all day? You'll play, I suppose, will you? And you'll watch all the interesting things that are happening. All right, good girl, Mandy. Now, what's your name?
Eleanor.
And, and where are you from?
Ballincollig.
As well, is it? I think all of Ballincollig is here today, is it? Will you watch the red light now up there? And were you ever at an autumn fair before?
No.
Were you first time?
Yeah.
So you're looking forward to it as well?
Yeah.
Right, well, when they'll be finished making the sandwiches now, let you help them out in every way, won't you?
Yeah.
All right, well done. Thanks very much. Now we're here in the front lawn in preparation. 'Tis early morning, and we're preparing now for the great events of the day. And one of the events is the sheep penning competition, which will take place here. The pen, of course, being empty at the moment. There are a few dogs. I think they're keeping a close eye. But more importantly, we have the lady of the day, Terry Kelleher. And Terry, you're looking forward to the day, I'm sure.
Oh, I am indeed, Barry. I hope that the rain will stay away. That's the most important thing.
It will. The morning is looking good anyway, isn't it?
It is, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Now, you're expecting a big crowd here for the day.
We are expecting a very big crowd.
Yeah.
Well, a couple of thousand people anyway.
Isn't that great? And you've a lot of preparatory work now done up to now, have you?
We have. We've been at it, I suppose, with the past 2 months, really. We called our first meeting, and we were slow starting off, but with the past month now, like, the attendance has grown, and we got COPE in Macroom involved as well. So they're taking, sing after the ladies section of it really today.
Yes.
You know, it was a great help.
Now, you're going to be busy all through the day, I suppose, are you?
Well, I'm kind of
Jack of
all
all
trades and
is it?
master of none.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you'll have to keep moving around from
That's
one
right,
area
yeah.
to another,
That's
isn't
right,
it?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just checking, see that everything goes all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I suppose you won't see Pat at all today, Terry, will you?
I'll manage without
I
him.
suppose you will. Now, one of the competitors here for the sheep penning, you have the dogs, which you're
That's
Robert
right,
Kelleher, isn't it?
That's right, Barry, yeah.
Yeah. You're looking forward to the competition.
We are, yeah. I think we'll have a lot of dogs today. I think.
Yeah. How many dogs have you yourself?
I have 4 for myself competing.
I see.
Yeah, 4
And
dogs.
have you competed now in many other competitions as well?
Actually, I have nearly every Sunday, part of the summer, like, we'll be going to one every Sunday.
Right.
You know, we'll be going up to Wexford and Wicklow and parts of Kerry and Tipperary, and you know, we go to all of them. Like.
Yeah. Have you competed in national competitions?
I once ever in the national, that was 2 years ago.
And how did you do in that?
I didn't come anywhere.
Didn't you? Yeah.
You know, it was the standard was very high, but
Yes.
we had a good run and we enjoyed the day.
Right. Will there be fairly keen competition here now today?
Oh, there'll be some great dogs here today. But,
Will there? Yeah.
you know, there'll be some top men.
Yes.
You know, there'll be dogs that compete in the national now, and dogs that compete across the water,
Yeah.
representing Ireland. I think there'll be
That's
some of them here, I think.
Now, the dogs you have there, will you work them singly, in pairs,
Yes,
or in
single,
fours? Or
singly.
all singly?
It's all single, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And how many sheep will they be expected to pen now in the competition you take part in?
Every
today?
competitor will get 4 sheep, and every competitor gets 4 different sheep.
Right.
So they normally get the same 4 sheep. Like.
I
They'll be
see.
different sheep.
How are they drawn then?
So there'll be all the open dogs will be entered in. Numbers will be all thrown into a hat, and they'll be all drawn out of that, and they'll go off in according as they're drawn out.
Right. How do you expect to do today?
Sure, as good as I can do, I suppose.
Yeah, I was
Do the
noticing-
best I can. And
I was noticing one of the dogs a little bit lame there.
that's right, he's a bit sore from the road actually.
Yes.
You know, her pad is a bit torn,
Yeah.
but hopefully she'll be alright when she gets out.
So dogs have to be informed too, Robert, I
have,
suppose,
they have.
don't they?
As-
Like ourselves.
As good as they've been, just have to have them for them.
Good man, good man. Now, another man that's here with me is Michael. And Michael, are you competing as well?
I'm not, no, I'm only kind of organise these as such.
Yes. You're helping for the day, is it?
Yeah, helping for the day.
Yeah,
get
where
things
are you
organised.
living, Michael?
Carriganima.
In Carriganima. Yeah, and which particular event are you...
Well, I'm kind of over the sheep, like kind of organising the sheep, the dog trails and the shearing and that side of the show, like.
Right. Now, how do you decide on the particular sheep that you select?
Well,
The wilder the better, is it?
well, you want sheep that are used to dogs too, like, do you know what I mean?
Yes.
You wouldn't want sheep that wouldn't be, you want sheep that are well handled by dogs and be used to dogs, because if they weren't used to the dogs, you know, they'd completely seize completely, you know what I mean?
Would you opt now for low-lying, or would you upland sheep?
Well, upland sheep more or less, because they're mostly manoeuvred by dogs, but in the lowlands, like, the sheep are mostly around the house, like, and then you hope by dog work will be done, like, with them.
I see.
But there's Robert sheep we've here today, so they're well used to dogs anyway there.
So at the end of the day now, after the competition, they'll be all praying for you, Michael, having selected the sheep, will they?
I don't know, we've done that.
Anyway, we'll see. Now we've another man here, a visitor to the area, is that right?
Yes,
And your name is?
John Shea.
John O'Shea.
Yeah.
Now, John, where are you from?
Laura, near Kinmare.
Oh, is that so?
Yeah.
God, of course, you've plenty of sheep back around Lara.
Plenty of rocks and mountain anyway.
And beautiful scenery as well. I thought you'd be way back now admiring and counting the tourists today. Are you a keen competitor, John? Are
I
you?
watch a few of them already.
Do you? Have you travelled around the country?
I
much?
do with Robert there. We go sort of together like.
Yeah.
We go to a lot of the trials, whatever is on during summer like.
Yeah. And how many dogs have you yourself?
I have 2 here today.
And does it take a long time now to train a dog to come up to this level of competition?
It would vary from dog to dog really, like, you know. But some of them are faster than more, like.
Yeah.
I suppose they take, well, they're going to be a couple of years before they'd be settled down enough for this, like. Yeah.
And are there dogs that are untrainable?
Oh, you'd get a lot of them. You get more of them than the other lads.
Would you? Yeah.
You would, yeah.
Yeah. Is there a market for sheepdogs like that now?
They would. You'd always sell a good dog, like.
Would
But
you? And what would a
tis-
good dog make, roughly?
yeah, they've made up to £1,000, like, you know.
Would they?
But
Yeah.
there's a lot of work put into them, and I don't think you'd make much. You wouldn't make much in training and selling dogs. Like,
Would you
you know,
not?
there'd be too much time put into it.
Yeah. Is the sport now, is it very far advanced in this country?
It is, but I think if it was televised more like that, it would be better. You know, that a lot of people don't know about it, I think. That in England now, like, it is very well publicised, and I think that if the same thing was done here, that you'd have more crowds and you'd have more interest in it,
Right.
I think,
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah. So you're looking forward to a good day now, I'm sure.
Yeah, we'll do our best
And the
anyway.
dogs are in good form, are they?
We hope so, anyway.
Will you be competing against Robert now
I
today?
will.
And you'll hope to beat him.
Oh God, yes, of course.
No doubt about it. Right, ladies, we have
Geraldine Kelleher.
Geraldine. Now, are you interested in this competition as well, Geraldine?
Wish I am, yeah. We're out every Sunday.
You're Robert's
I'm
wife,
Robert's
isn't
wife,
it?
yeah. So
Yeah.
I know the choice, only get interested in it.
And you'd know the dogs pretty
Oh,
well
I would,
too,
yeah, I
wouldn't
would,
you?
yeah, I would, yeah.
Would
yeah.
you know a good sheepdog now from another, say?
Well, you would have a fair good idea, right? You know, watch him every Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, it's everyone's interest, I suppose. And I had no other choice.
Yeah.
I'd be at home otherwise every Sunday.
I know. And are you very keyed up now before competitions when you
No,
see him
then.
working?
No,
You're not?
then. No.
No? Would you travel with him to most of them?
Always,
Yeah.
always.
But it's an enjoyable day
Oh, it
too.
is, yeah.
isn't
It's great for the kids to get out and, you know, it's a cheap day out really because they're in a field and they're safe and they
That's
can't do
right.
any harm and they enjoy it. They meet the other children and they have their own.
And it's a
So
good
it's a
social
family day out,
occasion
right?
too.
Yeah, it is, of course,
It is,
is
where
it?
they can all
All
take
meet
part.
and be happy and that's
Yeah.
what it's all about.
That's
We've been
great.
inside long enough for the winter.
I hope you'll have a good day now,
Thank you.
Sheila. Thanks very much. Now, we have another lady here. This is
I know she from Laura.
from Laura as well, is it?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
right.
you're John's wife,
That's
isn't
right,
it?
yeah.
No, you go around to each of the competitions as well,
Well,
do you?
most of them.
Yeah.
Most of them there in the summer when
Yeah.
John is going.
And of course, it's a nice day out
Oh,
as well,
she
isn't
feels
it?
lovely, yeah.
Sometimes I
It is.
suppose you'll get the
Oh, she's-
occasional wet day, would you?
Well, you do, and it is miserable, all right, when it's raining, but...
But would
it
they
is good.
continue to
They
work the
do.
dogs then
yeah,
through
they
that,
do
would they?
usually, all right, when we stay in the van.
Yeah.
Let them at it.
Yeah. Is there more of these types of competitions in Kerry now, let's say, than there are in Cork?
Not really, no, not really. I
Mm.
suppose Castletown Bear now, like, they have no, well, Castletown, they have a few September and
Yes.
I suppose Camp and Inch now.
Back
Yeah.
camping near on a scar, is
That's
it?
right, yeah.
Yeah.
There have been some there earlier in the year.
Would you think
Uh,
that the Kerry competitors are better than the Cork competitors, like the
No.
football?
I'm afraid not.
Are they not?
Not at all.
Yeah. How much time now would John spend training the dogs?
Well, I suppose if you take them out a couple of evenings a week, just hard to get time. That's the biggest problem. You
Right.
know, the summer is, you're so busy, you know,
Yeah.
just hard to get time
Hard to get
take
time.
them, yeah.
But he's very keen anyway.
Oh, he is very
And
interested.
should behind every good man is a woman, isn't it?
So they're saying.
Thanks very much indeed. I hope. Now, with me here is Teddy O'Leary, and Teddy, you're from Ballingeary, and of course you're the very important man who's the judge for the sheep penning competition for today, isn't that
Yes,
right?
that's right, yeah.
Now, how did you actually start off prior to becoming a judge, Ted?
Well, we used to always run sheepdog ties in our own show in Ballingeary, and I happened to start time keeping there, like, and I was asked to go to the places then.
I see.
a timekeeping, and next thing I started at, I was asked to go judge again.
I see.
And I started from there.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, the competition, I'm quite sure, must be very keen. In speaking to some of the competitors we've met here now this morning, it strikes me that they take it very, very seriously.
Oh, very serious. And the standards are getting very high late, yeah. Very tight.
Yeah.
Very tight heart here.
Yeah. Creates difficulties for the
Yes,
judge, of course,
that's right,
doesn't it?
very, yes, some great runs.
Yes.
Yeah.
How now? Have you judged in other counties as well?
Yes, I have, yeah, in Limerick and Kerry.
Right. And
Times, yeah.
how would the Cork competitors now fare against some of these? Do they do well?
They does well and often be the winner.
Would they?
Yeah,
Yes.
often be the winner.
Yeah.
Like the standard is very high all over anyway.
Yeah.
No.
Now, a lot of people, particularly in the towns, they're probably not as familiar with the keenness of competition and the frequency of sheep penning competitions. Why do you think that is?
Yeah. Really, I don't think a lot of them don't hardly understand what the dog is supposed to do.
Yes.
What he's doing around the field. Like, you know, that some people come in and they don't know where the dog should take the sheep.
Yes.
And that's what makes an awful difference. Like, they don't know that they should drive them. They don't know the drive or the fetch, like, right, you know.
Yes.
And the person that knows where the dog will have to take the sheep, it makes it a lot more interesting.
I know. So you have to look out then as judge, of course. You have to know how to score. I suppose you score on various characteristics that of the dog throughout the run, do you?
Oh, well, yes, yeah. The outrun, which is very important.
Yes.
And the lift, the fetch, and the drive and shed, pin and pin.
I see.
Yeah.
And the what about the work of the master then?
Well, it all comes into like the dog will go according to the master. Will, to know like that if the work of the master is not up to standard, the dog won't work either.
No,
Yeah.
no. Now, how old should a good dog be?
Well, I suppose the dog is never rightly. He's a couple of years ago, but as dog, very good dogs going at 12 months and under working. Yeah.
Right.
There is.
And are these dogs working mountain land rather than lowland?
Yeah. A lot of the most of them that's running here now, they're working mountain land, for they're from the Galties and from Kerry.
Right.
And that country and around here as well.
Yeah. And the selection of the sheep then, does that make a big difference for the
Sheep.
particular dog?
Sheep have a pile to play, and the sheep will have on the day. If we're very bad sheep, it's going to make an awful hash of things for, you know, that they're very hard to work on. They don't be used to dog.
Yes.
Yeah, and if we're sheep that's used to dog, it makes the trial a lot more interesting.
I see. Now, I spoke earlier there to Michael, who selected the sheep for today, and what would you expect of those sheep now?
I think the standard of the sheep should be very good here today now.
Yes.
And the horse is very nice, and
Yeah.
there should be a very good trial here today.
Yes. And I believe that there are competitors coming even from England today. Is that
That's
so?
right. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
You have them as far away as Castledome there and Waterford and the Prairie.
Yes. Well. And how many competitors will
Kerry?
will pen out today?
God, I'd say there's people with dogs here today. There
Will
should be 30 to 40 dogs.
Well.
Should be.
You'll have a busy day, so
It should be busy.
it will be an interesting day, though, won't it?
Very interesting, all right, yeah.
It will, and it will be a nice spectacle to see them at work too.
Yeah, oh, very nice.
And,
very
and the
nice.
different competitors.
Yes.
So you were looking
Yeah.
forward to the day, are you?
I am indeed. I am indeed, yeah. Yeah.
Now, one thing that I asked Robert Kelleher there earlier on, would he be working dogs singly or in pairs, or have you ever seen 4 working together?
Well, at demonstrations.
Have you?
Yes, I have, yeah.
Yes.
Good time demonstration, but there's pairs now, like, and singles and pairs, like the most popular thing everywhere.
Is it?
Yeah.
And here today now, which
Well, today I think there's no pairs here today now.
is all singles?
Yeah, no doubles here, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, you'll
all
have a
singles.
long day if you're 40 dogs.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of rivalry between them then from one show to the next?
Well, I wouldn't think there is. I wouldn't think there is. You know, they're a great team. They're great losers. You know,
Yeah.
they're the same after lose used to win. You know, they're
I know,
great. Very good effort.
What would you like to judge now yourself in terms of an ambition, your ambition as a sheep penning judge? Would you like to judge national competitions, or have you done it already?
No, well then national competition at all.
Yeah.
But
you'd like to do that, I suppose,
I would,
you?
yeah.
Yeah. Well, sure, maybe after today, no?
Yeah, maybe.
They'll
Yes,
be all looking
yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
And we hope for the right reasons.
Yes, indeed, yeah.
Listen, thanks very much indeed, and have a good day.
Yeah, right.
Okay, Ted, thank you. Now, here one of the very important sideshows at the fair is the traditional craft of spinning wool. And with me is Julie Malloy. Julie, you're not a native of Ireland.
No, I come from Suffolk in England.
And how long have you been in Ireland?
2 years.
Now, the actual spinning wheel here, is this a new wheel or an old wheel?
No, it's fairly new. It's an Ashford spinning wheel, which are made in New Zealand. They're very popular with hand spinners. They're very versatile. They can spin all types of wool. They're very hard wearing.
And how did you develop the interest now in spinning?
Where we lived in Suffolk, near a town called Lavenham, which was built up on the wool trade, and there was a great interest around there of spinners and weavers, and a guild was formed, and so there was just a group of us formed a guild and got together, and that's where I learnt to spin, which was about 6 years ago now.
So it began out of general interest?
Yes, that's right.
I see. Now, would you like to just tell us the main parts of the spinning wheel, which are rather interesting? It seems very complex.
It's not really. The whole thing is worked by the foot treadle at the bottom here.
Yes.
The big wheel, I don't know all the technicalities. The big wheel turns this little wheel,
Yes.
and the action of the two forms the twist. This is a bobbin. The idea is to fill the bobbin. Then when there are 2 bobbins, you re-spin it back onto the wheel, and that forms the double twisted wool, which is then suitable for the knitting.
I see. Now, of course, the wool, from the time it's got from the sheep, has to be carded, is that right?
That's right, yes. You can spin it directly from the fleece, but it's usually easier to card it. It puts the fibres in a parallel direction, makes them easier to twist through and spin.
And then you work it with your hand. Essentially, you're feeding the wool in,
That's
is it?
right. This part is called drafting, actually. This where you pull it out, and depends how many fibres you pull out there, how thick or thin the thread is. So if you pull them out so it's only a few fibres there, then you have a very fine thread, and if you leave it, just let a few out, then you'll get the thicker thread there.
Well, it would be very important to have consistency then. So
That's right.
a good spinner would maintain particular consistency, would they?
That's right, yes. It takes you a while to learn that. So it's like everything else, you know, the more you spin, the better you get on that. When you first learn, it's all lumps and bumps, everybody's the same, but then you finally get the hang of it and get the nice, smooth, even thread.
Now, how long would it take to actually spin a complete fleece?
Approximately 50 hours, I should think.
And
yeah.
the weight of wool?
What would that be? 8 to 10 pounds, would that be? Yeah.
Yes. So it takes quite a while then?
Yes, that's right. It's not a... It's a hobby. It's a good hobby. Keeps you going.
And the wool now that you're doing here, what happens to this wool?
This will be knitted. This will be turned into a jumper over the winter months.
Is it by yourself?
Yes, by myself, yeah.
Now, since you've come to Ireland, have you trained any other people in this particular craft?
And, I haven't trained any myself. I belong to the Cork Guild of hand weavers and spinners, and we get new members and we all learn from each other, really, which is a good way of sort of passing on the craft.
Yes.
And that's the best way of learning, is to join a guild, because then you've got a good a good mix of all the aspects of it. Some people like to do the weaving. They like to spin their wool for weaving.
It's a pity that more actually don't do this, isn't it?
It is, especially in Ireland, because you think of Ireland and you think of spinning wheels. And when I first came over, I found it very difficult to find spinners or spinning wheels.
And also at the present time, when, you know, small enterprises, it's a time for small enterprises, isn't it?
It is, that's right. It'd be lovely. It'd be lovely to... I think, again, this is where the interest could come with the schools, perhaps the second level schools, even older national school children that don't know anything about the craft that their grandmothers. It's very difficult to find anybody that even remembers their grandmother spinning.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, look, I hope you have a pleasant day, and certainly it's attracting an awful lot of interest, and it's hard to imagine in a rural area that it should attract so much interest, isn't it?
It is, it's lovely.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much indeed.
you.
Thank you. Ready. Now, Robert, there's another run now about to commence. Who's this competitor now?
Our next man now is Nicholas Mullins from Tipperary. This is a young dog, I think a 2-year-old dog.
And the class again now?
The class is intermediate. So off he goes now on the right hand side, going off at a good even pace. Going away on the right hand side. He's widening off now. He's going way up to the back of him.
That's all the outrun now,
That's the outrun now until he comes to that point now. You see, stop his dog there now and lift him, get him moving, which he's doing very well. They're in a good straight line now. And he seems to be in a nice position. Bringing him on nice and straight. That's it.
You call that the fetch then?
That's the fetch now, and that's the fetch huddle, the first huddle. He's doing nice, quiet sheep. The dog is staying off him nicely. This is a young dog, I think.
It's very important then to keep them in a straight line, is it?
You have to keep on a straight line at an even pace. You know, if you don't keep on a straight line, you'll be cut points. You know, you can't afford to be losing any points because the standard is so high that you could easily lose 2 or 3 points there, or 5 points. And it will be the whole lot in the end of the evening. You get 20 points for the outrun, 10 for the lift, and 10 for the fetch. He's gone around his back now and he's starting his drive.
So the dog now has to drive the sheep back up to the next huddle, is it?
The dog has to get in behind the sheep now and drive him straight to the left-hand huddle.
How do you think that dog is doing now?
That dog now is doing quite well. He's doing well, yes. He's going on nice and straight.
Of course, the sheep would make a difference too, wouldn't they?
The sheep makes a big difference there, but the sheep seem to be good today. They seem to be under good control and they're used to dogs, which means all the difference. He's straight through there anyway, he's okay. He's going across the field now to the drive-off huddle. He's going a little bit wide now. Yeah, he's doing all right.
Does it matter if he comes to this side of
He has to cross. When he goes through the first drive huddle, he has to turn him sharp to the right-hand side.
But if he comes on the inside, it doesn't matter, does it?
It doesn't matter, no. They're scattering now a small little bit in. But I'm sure he'll get him after a while. As I said, this is a young dog and it takes a couple of years for him to mature.
What age would a dog be now when they're at their peak?
They'd want to be 3, 4, 5 years. Like. A lot of them don't be any good until they're 5 years before they're maturely right.
Now he isn't taking them through the huddle at all there now that time?
He missed that huddle now. He missed that huddle because the dog didn't flank to the right when he told him, which can happen now and then.
Of course he's losing points now on that, Robert, is he?
He's about half his drive lost now, it's. He'll be losing about 10 points there now. He actually got the huddle there now, you see, like. Yeah. But it's no good because you can't, you must go straight through it. There's no second chance. You can try it a second time,
Oh, I see.
There's only one attempt.
Oh, it's only the single attempt.
Yeah, only a single attempt.
Now the next stage, of course, is the pinning. Then,
The next stage now is into the pin. He can leave the stake now and come down to the pin. There's 10 points now for the pin, if they'll go in straight. And if there's any twists or turns, he'll be losing 1 and 2 points. He'll be actually losing a point per sheep. If they go around the pin, he'll lose 3 points.
And does it matter if sheep stop now, for example?
It doesn't, no, it's no difference. Once they see now. He had 3 points last there now, he'll even go around the pin.
Must take an awful lot of training too, does it?
Takes an awful lot of work, yeah, an awful lot of patience. A lot of time. A lot of work goes into a dog.
How many hours a week now would a dog want to be worked to come up to that type of standard?
You'll be talking about it maybe an hour every day, like. And that could be for 12 months.
And over varying terrain then, I suppose, is it?
Oh yes, very rough territory. You know, that at least they'd want at least 12 months on the hill before they'd be good for trials, for field work. You know, it hardens them and it gives them balance.
He's having difficulty, all right, isn't he, that dog?
He's having trouble, yeah. As I said, he's a young dog and he's not settled down enough to it yet. But he has now.
He has them now. Well done. So
That's
how
nice
would you
going.
rate that kind of a score there now, Robert?
Well, that would be a good run out for intermediate. Definitely if he got the third hurdle there, he'd be in a placing, I'd say.
Would he? Yeah.
But he had a bit of trouble there, and you know, the standard, as I say, the standard will be high, and there'll be dogs to beat that, I'd say, this evening. Yes.
And how do they become promoted then into novice?
They can win 1 novice. A young dog, he can win 1 novice, and when he wins that, he'll have to go intermediate then.
Now, here in the line of vintage cars, we have a very interesting car. It's called a Nova car, and it's actually a kit car. Now, the kit was brought in by Dermot Healy, and Dermot is here with me. Dermot, this is a very interesting, design, isn't it?
It is actually, it is unusual anyway, to say the least.
Now, you bought the kit, did you?
Yeah, I actually bought it and done it up and built it. The car is actually based on a variant chassis, a variant engine and kit, and that's about it really. It is 1963 actually.
No, the chassis is 1963.
Yeah, it is actually, yeah, the chassis, yeah.
Now, the structure itself, what is that built on?
The chassis is steel and the actual kit is all fiberglass.
Now, there must have been an awful lot of work involved in it.
Few hours now at night during the winter, yes.
I was looking at all the various angles and turns and twists, and the design must have been extremely difficult.
Well, the design is actually meant to be actually a copy of a Lamborghini, so that's really meant to be.
Now, does it carry the power with it that it looks?
Not really, no.
Does it not?
It actually might not as power as doped up as it looks at all.
Yeah. And what size engine?
Only 1600 engine. CCCs, yeah.
Now, also in terms of the door here, would you just raise up the door for us, please? No, that must be on some type of a pneumatic system.
It is hydraulic system actually, just powered by electrical motor. That's something that's not actually first. That's something I done myself.
Oh, that wasn't in the original design.
The original plan at all. The original plan is just a handle on each side, and you just raise it up by hand.
And did that mean so that the door was halved? That you had a door at each side?
No, it didn't actually. You'd have to get a person on each side. There was actually handle here and a handle over, and
you lifted it
lifted
forward
up
then.
and it was on this position.
Now, where are you living, Dermot?
Well, actually, now I'm living in Killarney. I'm originally from Carrigan.
And this must certainly create an enormous interest everywhere you go, does it?
Yeah, whenever you go. Even when I was in Cork last under there, it was even vandalised. I was inside it and people walked up on it.
Well, that was a shame indeed. I was looking at the windscreen there. There's a crack in it. Is that the damage? Is
That's
it?
the damage, yeah.
Yeah, that's a pity. The tyres then that are on it.
Yeah, they're 8-inch rims actually. They're one of the widest you can get. So.
Now, I suppose the last thing is most people must think it's out of a James Bond movie, do they?
It seems to be the general.
I suppose what you need now is somebody in the other seat, is it?
I think we could measure that for another while.
Okay, Dermot. Listen, thanks very much indeed. Thanks a lot. You hold there 1 second, please. Now, everybody's been waiting for you to arrive.
Thank you.
They have indeed. You're Sean O'Donoghue from Killarney.
Killarney, that's right, yeah.
Now, what car are you driving here?
A 1980 Spitfire.
Triumph, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, and...
totally original, 35,000 miles.
I see. And 35,000,
35,000.
Clock wasn't stopped, was it?
No. Everything's totally original, even the carpets.
Why did you come here today?
Well, I heard about it and I thought it was a nice place to come to.
Right, yeah, you were very good to come.
And also Case from Cork.
And Case from Cork. You were bringing Kay home, so... And are there many Triumph Spitfires now like these in the country?
Well, this is one of the last. They stopped making them right after. This is one of the last to come into Ireland, this one.
Okay. And how did you get it?
Pure accidents. I have it since 1983.
Yeah. And it's going very well,
Oh, like new.
Right.
But it only does run-outs like this, you know.
Yeah.
I don't use it every day at all.
And how many fairs like this would you attend now over the years, sir?
Well, with the things there, we've been in Upton.
Yes.
We don't go to that a lot. That was Upton.
Yes.
And we've been in Killarney.
Right.
But I also got vintage farm machinery.
Yes.
And I attend Killarney, of course.
So you get a medallion like this for each one you attend, do you?
Yeah.
Or is it a prize?
No, that's a plaque.
A plaque.
But we also enter competitions like St. Patrick's Parade now in Killarney, that kind of thing. We have to dress up and all that sort of thing. Like
I see, yeah.
Is this for the news or something?
Yeah, there's great interest in the vintage cars, isn't there?
Yeah, but we didn't know about this. Only Dermot Healy told us there. We'd love to have known about it.
Yes.
You know?
You'd have dressed up even more, would you?
We'd have brought a lot of people as Dermot. That was Dermot told us.
Yeah, Dermot is a nice car down there.
Yeah.
But
only for Dermot, we would have known about it.
Yeah. Well, you were great to come, and I hope you have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye now.
But do not commence any sketch of your program when the carriage you'll see coming over the hill, flying through the valleys and glens of Kilcorny, is our Muskery sportsman, the Baltady Quill. Baltady was famous all over the nation, as sportsman and races he's very well known. He's the only young rake who can coax all the ladies from old Bantry Bay to the County Tyrone. There's not a young lady from Kerry to Portrush who's right to alone with him right with her will. There's no man in the hollow about their gold with you Baltady Quill. For gambling and roving, for gambling and courting, for the rain and bowling as fast as you'd bill. In all your days roaming, you'll find them such jovial as the Muskery sportsman, the Baltady Quill. Baltady was famous in many more places, at athletic races held down in Tyrone. There he won the long jump without throwing off his braces, going 24 feet every sweep he used throw. But in throwing the weights with a Dublin chap foremost. The Muskerry sportsman exceeded him still, and around the whole field went the wild ringing chorus. Long life to you, glory there, Baltady Quill. And the conquering goal between Cork and Tipperary was played in the park on the banks of the Lee. Our own darling boys were afraid of being beaten, so they sent for Baltady to Ballinagre. He hurled a ball right and left in their faces, showing those Tipperary lads training and skill. There were tar barrels blazing and green laurels waving to honour our hero, the Baltady Quill. At the Cork exhibition there was a fair lady whose fortune exceeded $1,000,000 or more, but a bad constitution had ruined her completely, and medical treatment had failed o'er and o'er. Now Mama says she, sure I know what will cure me, and cure this disease which will certainly kill. Give over your doctoring, medicine shaping, the cure is one squeezing from Baltady Quill. For rambling, for roving, for gambling and courting, for trading the bowling as fast as you will. In all your days roaming, you'll find none so jovial as the Muskerry sportsman, the Baltady Quill. For rambling and roving, for gambling and courting, for trading a bowling as fast as you will. In all your days roaming, you'll find none so jovial as the Muskerry sportsman, the Baltady.
Now we've just come to the end of the 1,000 metres cross country here at the sports, and the winner is?
Eleanor Sullivan.
And where are you from, Eleanor?
Dennis Rock.
Now, did you find that a tough race?
Yeah.
What was the most difficult part of it?
Coming up the hill.
Now, do you train very hard for running?
Yeah.
How often do you train?
About 3 or 4 days a week.
Of course, you belong to a very good club, the West Musgrave Athletic Club, don't you?
Yeah.
And they take great interest.
Yeah.
Now, you like running, I suppose, do you?
Yeah.
What would you like to do in terms of events? Which ones do you like to run?
Cross country.
All cross country?
Yeah.
And what about any of the 3,000, 5,000 metres and flat track?
Yeah, I'd like to run too.
Like to do those as well. Well, you ran a great race and a very strong, powerful race, and keep up the training now, won't you?
Thanks very much.
Good girl, well done. Now, you were second, and your name is?
Niamh Dunn.
You're Niamh. And where are you from?
Carrigadrohid.
Carrigadrohid. And do you do a lot of training as well?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what club are you with?
West Musgrave.
As well. So West Musgrave are making a clean sweep here, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you ran a very, very good race as well. All the way you were running very strongly there at the finish. That's very important, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And to pace yourself well, I suppose.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good girl. Well done. And you were third, weren't you?
Yeah.
What's your name?
Lisa Keller.
And where are you from, Lisa?
Drumry.
Drumry. And you belong to the West Musgrave Club as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. God, you're all being well looked after in the West Musgrave Club, weren't you?
Yeah.
Did you find that a tough race?
Yeah.
What was the hardest part of it?
Finishing.
Was it? Of course, you had to go down around the hill as well, and that's tough coming back up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you ran a great race, and well done, and keep up the training, won't you?
Yeah.
Good girl. No, you were fourth, weren't you? And your name is?
Niamh Scanlon.
Niamh, and you're from?
West Musgrave.
West Musgrave, but where are you living?
Ballyvourney.
Oh, are you? So you were doing a lot of training as well, are you?
Yeah.
Do you like running?
Yeah, I love it.
Why?
I know. Keeps you fit.
Keeps you fit, and it's nice
Yeah.
to be able to come out and
You enjoy
compete,
it,
isn't
yeah.
it? And competition is nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Now, we'll take another girl here. Your name is?
Tracy O'Mahony.
And where are you from, Tracy?
I'm Clondrohid.
And are you in the West Musgrave Club as well?
Yeah.
Good girl. And how often do you train?
Mondays.
On every month. And who trains you?
I train myself.
You do. Good girl. Well done. Keep it up. And your name is?
Mary Bridget Hennigan.
And where are you from?
Coachard.
And you train with West Musgrave also, do you?
I just train myself.
Oh, you train yourself. But have you joined any club?
No.
Well, you should join a club now and you'd be able to train with all the others, wouldn't you? Good girl. Well done. Now, your name is?
Ashton Austin.
And where are you from?
Kilnagarteen Macroom.
I see. And do you train a lot? Are
Yeah.
you with the West Musgrave Club?
No.
Or you just train on your own, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good girl. Well, keep it up. Maybe you'll join the club now next year. And your name is?
Tracy O'Callaghan.
And where are you from?
Macroom.
Macroom. And all the Callahans were great. Your grandfather now was a great sportsman, wasn't he?
I don't know.
He was indeed. And do you like running?
Yeah.
Yeah, and are you with the West Musgrave Club as well?
No.
Would you be like to join them?
I don't know.
Oh, you might. Good girl. Well done. Keep at it anyway. All right?
We will have 2 full laps of the course. And there we have the start now of the girls and the platoon. And we have a very good team indeed.
Excuse me, you don't want the boys with me finishing 90 before we put them off.
Did you ever fill up the first? Now with me here is Martin Coughlin, and Martin is the chairman of the West Musgrave Athletic Club. And certainly looking here at the sports day today, Martin, they're doing very well, the young lads, aren't they, and girls?
Well, exceptionally well for this time of year because we're just starting into a new cross-country season, and we're doing what you call long distance training at the moment, and we won't be doing any speed work, but you can see for yourself they're going exceptionally well. But they're after coming off a very hard track season, and it's a continuous sport. You get no break. You go from track season to cross country to indoor back to track, so they're fairly fit, everyone.
Yeah, they're indeed. Now one of the things, Martin, how many have ye in the club actually?
Well, I suppose on paper we'd have anything up to 100 juvenile members at the moment. Our senior ranks aren't that strong. We probably have about 4 senior runners, and it's a pity, like, because there are a lot of good young fellas that finish up at 17 and 18, and they seem to fade away. They take up other interests, and it's a pity because there's a lot of good talent around this area.
Yeah. Well, of course, there's a very strong tradition too in the locality as well, isn't there? That helps it.
Well, that's right. You've got you had athletics back here in the late 50s. You had a lot of good athletes, Sheehy's and Callahans and a few more, like, and it was a pity it faded away, but that normally happens in most areas. But at least now that we've the club set up and we're getting a bit more successful, we find that those families aren't trying to row in behind us and give us a handout.
Now you have a very good team with you on the committee as well, and I believe that they put in an enormous amount of time helping out and encouraging these young people.
Well, over the past 2 years the committee has grown enormously. For a couple of years starting off it was tough enough. There was only 2 or 3 of us, and we had to do a lot of work and travelling. In athletics, there's an awful lot more travelling involved than most other sports. You have to travel from one end of the country to the other, actually. And over the past few years, we've been very lucky. We've got a few great people from the Bellavourne area, the Scannells, Mick Scannell, an ex-footballer, a well-known Cork footballer, and Noel Scannell and Dennis Sullivan. There's a good few, and I'm bound to leave out people, but when you start naming them, and then from the Kilmoytle area, we're very lucky to have Phil Hallen and Nora Buckley, the Grady's and the Foleys. They're really rowing in behind us, and they've made life a lot easier for us over the past 2 years.
All very dedicated people.
Very dedicated people, and very interested in their children, and that's what keeps the kids going. If the parents don't give a little push at home or give a little handout at home to the kids, well, we can do very little for them.
Yeah, well, it is very important to give every encouragement to these youngsters here, and I have here on my other side, Martin, here, the winner. It was 1,000 metres, was it?
Yeah.
No, what's your name?
Tyke Scanlon.
And where are you from, Tyke?
Bellavourne.
I see. And did you find that a tough race now?
Yeah.
What was the hardest part of it?
The hill.
Yeah, coming back up the hill, is it? No, are you the son of Micheál Scannell?
Yeah.
Are you? Yeah, so you're going to be a great athlete and a great footballer in the years ahead.
Yeah.
And you like running anyway, don't you? Keep it up now and you'll do well. Now, you were second. What's your name?
Simon Foley.
Simon Foley. And you were from?
Kilmichael.
Yeah. And you like running as well, do you?
Yes.
And do you train regularly?
Yes.
How often?
Once every day.
Do you? Good. Did you find that a tough race?
Yes.
It was good. It was a good train, sure, a good outing, wasn't it?
Yes.
Oh, it's good boy, good man, Simon. And now you were told, what's your name?
John Buckley.
And you have a nice medal here, haven't you? Is that the medal you got for it?
Yeah.
Good boy. And did you find it a tough race?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you kept at it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Now it is very important to keep training, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, good man. So keep it up now, won't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, well done. Well done, lads. Okay, that's great. Thanks. Now, another event of the fair is the dog show. And with me is Tim Leahy. And Tim, you're not a native of this area?
No, no, I'm from the eastern side, right? So I know nobody here, which is important at a dog show.
Right. You're from?
I'm from White's Cross. White's Cross.
Now, dog shows are a very popular event, and they're becoming even more popular, Tim, I think, at most shows, aren't they?
They are, because it is a tradition in Ireland that almost every house has a dog, right? And I think it's coming through to people that it's nice to have a good dog. You also want a dog that will do something. Most dogs now would have to serve the dual purpose of being a family pet, a watchdog, whatever, you know. If it is a farm dog, they'll have to be able to work on the farm. From the point of view of showing them, then, for most people, it's just a fun day out, right? There is a serious side to it, with championship shows and all that, but I mean, that wouldn't basically be the concern of the most of the people here. It's for a fun day out.
Now, there are various categories, and it's very important, those that are showing dogs, that they should realise that there are very distinct categories. Isn't that true? Could you give us an outline just broadly on the categories that they enter?
I will. Basically, they come in 7 now different categories. You have the hounds, which is obviously for hounds, 2 types of hounds. You have a gaze hound, the likes of the Greyhound, and you have a scent hound, the like of the Bastard or the Beagle. You have terriers, obviously, which, well, the term terrier means a dog that goes underground as such. You have the working dogs, which cover German Shepherds, Rottweilers, guard dogs. It covers the likes of the St. Bernard, who was a rescue dog. It covers the likes of the Nordic breeds, you know, the Samoyed and all those that were sled pullers. After that, then you have the Corgi, of course, and the working dog. Then you have the pastoral group. In actual fact, the Corgi has gone into the pastoral group, let me tell you. Pastoral group would be all the breeds that would herd cattle and sheep, right? Simply confined to that. Then you have the utility group, which covers a multitude of dogs which doesn't fit into any category. You have gun dogs, self-explanatory. They're dogs used for shooting. You have, what else have you got? Let me think.
Miniature.
You have the ties. The ties would be the last group. They're usually pet dogs, lap dogs, as we call them, but nonetheless great pets, and usually good watchdogs.
Well, now, at an event like this, as you were saying, that it's a day out, and some people can take it serious, but in general, people treat it as a day out.
They do, but I mean, some people would be inclined to take it seriously, all right. They love to get a prize, but from my point of view, judging here, obviously I'm going to just give it to the dog that I like best on the day. And remember that in this position, it's only just my opinion. It's just my opinion that such a dog is better than another dog, because judging dogs is a subjective business. You know, I mean, it's not an exact science. Breeding dogs is not an exact science. So the judging of dogs is subjective. It's what one sees in one's eye, right?
Now, how impressed have you been with the dogs that have been put on show here today?
Some of them I'm very much impressed with, right? Some dogs I'm very much impressed with. The general standard in Ireland is high anyway, because to tell you the truth, I'm a full-time professional dog breeder, and I export a lot of dogs, and I've been judging around the world in actual fact from time to time. And believe it or not, right, in this small little show here, right, I have seen some dogs that would grace any ring.
Good.
And I'm being perfectly honest about that now, right? In a lot of cases, one of the breeds that I expected to see very good here was the Jack Russell, and unfortunately I didn't. Right? You know, that's all right. But there are some dogs, I'm not finished judging, so it's unfair to comment on any particular dogs, but there are some dogs here that would literally grace any ring. I saw Well, one that I didn't give a price to because it was too young, right? It was a golden retriever puppy. I'll comment on that, right? In my opinion, it's as good as a golden retriever puppy as I have ever seen.
Was that bred in the locality?
I assume it was. I wouldn't ask that, obviously. I mean, it would be considered ungentlemanly.
Totally impartial.
You have to remain totally impartial.
Well, listen, we have to let you back to your job for the day, and good judging, and many thanks indeed. Thanks very much. With me here is Anthony O'Leary, and Anthony, you're the leader of the Cork Volunteers Pipe Band.
That's right, yes, and the pipe major.
Now, where are you located?
We do a practice in the Thomas Nash Hall in the Morrison's Island, in the centre of the city.
Now, there's something very special about this particular band, I believe.
Well, yes, I suppose there is. It was founded by Thomas McCurtain, who was the first Republican Lord Mayor of Cork. Founded about 1914, a little bit of, how do I say, I'm not quite sure the day, but it was about 1914.
Now, it's actually, I suppose then, one of the oldest pipe bands, is it, in the country now?
Well, we're nearly the oldest pipe band in the country. The Fintan Lords in Dublin will be the oldest, but they maybe give us 2 or 3 years. And we're certainly the oldest in Munster anyway.
And have ye records now dating back to the earlier pipers and the members of the band?
Well, records, we'd have maybe old minutes books, and we'd have a lot of photographs and things like that, you know. But in the early days, obviously, they wouldn't have been so careful to keep records of minutes as nowadays, you know.
Now, you as the pipe major, you have the job of keeping control of all of these behind me, but I noticed that it's not totally male-dominated at all.
No, that's right. Some years back, about 10 or 15 years back, actually, we were probably the first band in Cork to introduce ladies into pipe bands, and we actually have just one lady member with us at the moment.
And how often do you come together now for practice?
We practice twice every week, Tuesday and Thursday night.
And how many make up a band?
Well, it varies from band to band. You know, you'd probably want at least 5 pipers anyway, with a quarter drummers with 3 or 4 drummers. We've about 11 pipers and 5 side drummers and a bass drummer.
Well, listen, you were very good to come out today and to honour the occasion with your music, and I've noticed in the crowd around that they're taking great interest in it as well. So we'll hand it over now that you might play a tune for us. And our thanks to all the members of the band, lads. Thanks very much, and thanks to you, Anthony. Thanks very much. another feature of the fair here today is the section here. There are 2 engines set up, and of course they're powered by steam. And the man that's responsible for all of this is Josie Murphy. And Josie, where are you living?
Kilmurray.
Now, could you tell me about this first engine here,
Yeah,
please?
what you said, they're not steam, they're actually paraffin oil engines.
Right.
That one was built in 1908 by Hornsby of England. They were famous manufacturers of these type of engines.
Yes.
It's a hot bulb which you heat with a blow lamp. It forms the ignition, and after that the engine running keeps it hot enough to run away itself.
And is it a fairly efficient engine now?
Oh yeah, very light in fuel, and that would be rated as it's a 6 horsepower engine, which would be quite strong. You know, it would be as strong as a medium-sized tractor today, like.
Right.
Even there would be maybe 30 horsepower or 40 horsepower. That would be just as strong in its time, like, you know.
And of course, the large wheel then drove a belt, did
Oh
it?
yeah, no, the pulley in the far side drove the belt. That was for the momentum to keep it running, like, you know.
I see. Now, when did you get this engine?
Oh, about 10 years ago, I'd say, up in Carlow.
And you restored it yourself then?
Well, yeah, there was a bin crankshaft and things, and we restored it in bits and pieces. My neighbour Dennis Edmund with me there, and we do it bit by bit, and you get them eventually. They're not very complicated when you get to know them, like, you know.
And what would the engine have been used for originally?
Numerous things: driving crushers, driving saws, driving factories, driving water pumps. Anything could be used for any multitude of things. So the source of power, that was all like put in somewhere and drive factories and creameries. You know?
And how old would it be roughly?
1908.
I see.
I could date it exactly for 1908.
Yeah. Were you impressed with an engine of that type now for 1908?
Oh yeah, but I have a lot of engines, like, but I just come across them in my business and I keep them and I restore them if I can, and if I can't, I give them the fellows for spare parts and things.
I know. Now, can you tell us, when we move up here along now inside the wire, we'll move up to the upper engine.
That's the Naden engine.
And we'll have a look at that, so, okay. We'll go up here to this. No, this particular engine seems to be of a different design, really, doesn't it?
Different manufacturer, Allen Brothers Aberdeen.
And would it be more modern than the other one?
It would be about a couple of years older than the other one.
Would it?
It would.
Yeah, you can move up and smaller to me. And no, what's different about this?
It's different. It doesn't have a mechanically operated inlet valve here like the other one has, and it's a different type of hot bulb. But other than that, not a whole lot of difference really. It's a twin flywheel. The other one's a single flywheel.
And would it be about 1908 as well?
To be before it.
Oh, sorry, would it?
I'm only guessing it to be roughly 1904, 5 or 6. Yeah. I have a number there, but I couldn't really verify it. But I do know it is before 1906 anyway.
Yeah. Now, did you find here today that there was a lot of interest shown in it?
Quite a lot, but a lot of fellas in it said to you, what is that? A fella said to me a while ago, was it for boiling water?
Yes.
He'd never seen one really, like, and that was it. And more people asked me were there some kind of pumps.
Yes.
And then when I said them they're an oil engine, they just have never seen them, like, and that's it. And another day that'll come, there'll be more people will get to know about these things. And
would engines like this now have been used, for example, in the likes of Ferville, the engineering?
Oh, absolutely, and in lighthouses and in all the lighthouses around the coast when they were installed first. Oh yeah, for driving generators, for the power, for the lights and all that, you know.
So it is very important that these are preserved, isn't it?
Well, it is, and there is a share of museums in England of good ones, not many one in Ireland that I know of yet, that would have a museum of engines on display working. And I mean, I'm talking about ones could be 25, 30 times the size of that engine. Engines of 100 horsepower, that would be 50 tons, like, you know. They'd be grand to see them installed and running. But sadly enough, there isn't any of them yet anyway.
How many times have you put these on show now?
Oh, a lot of times. But I have different engines, I take out different ones, but these ones now would have been out about 6 or 8 times this year. Upton and Killarney and Crookstown and go that way, like, you know, these rallies that they're at display, like, and there'll be a couple of more, one in Limerick and Feeney now later on, and go that way, like, you know.
If you were to be offered money now for this, Josie, what would it make?
I couldn't tell you.
Roughly?
Because if I took that down to Macroom tomorrow morning, I wouldn't get a suit of clothes for it.
Yes.
But if I met a right man, he could give me great money. But you understand me now? No, I don't sell any of them. Money swap.
I see.
Oh, no. I'd be collecting them all the time and swapping bits for bits and all this crap.
Yeah.
But selling out,
Very good. Well, you've enjoyed the day.
Oh, lovely day and lovely fine day here. Grand, a big crowd and all.
Yeah. Great. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you. Here is the winner of one of the Greyhound races, and your name is?
Deirdre O'Connell.
And you were from?
Blarney.
Blarney. Were you satisfied with the dog?
Yeah, I was very pleased with him.
What's his name?
Nicky.
Nicky. Yeah. And does he run on track now?
No, not on track.
Yeah. Just for an outing?
Yeah, just for the outing, yeah. Maybe the track later on.
Yeah. Would he have found that course fairly difficult now?
Yeah, it would have been fairly tough because there was a nice pull there.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was up there 3 times. I suppose he found it tough enough.
And what age is he?
He's 2 years.
Yeah. And you came first, of course?
Yeah, that's right.
So you're looking forward now to the presentation of the prizes, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Okay, well done and congratulations. Thank you.
Nice.
The presentation of the prizes for the Greyhound racing, and with me is Carmel Murphy. And Carmel, you have a list here now of the winners, and would you ever be able to tell us now who was first?
Matt Guiney was the winner, the overall winner.
Sorry, Con.
Or Con.
Yeah, Con Guiney now is the overall winner, and Con, if you could come forward please for the presentation. Right. No, that's fairly heavy now. If you just stand there now. That's it. Right. Just stand there now. Okay. Can you hold it for a second? Right. Were you delighted that the dog won?
Oh yeah, thrilled.
He run well?
Yeah, he did. He ran a great race.
Was that a tough track now for the dog?
Yeah, it was a good run. It was a good run. A good pull up to the top.
Okay. And wasn't confused by the hair, I suppose, was he?
Well, I don't know, we won't say.
Okay, well, congratulations and well done, and I hope you'll treasure this trophy now back in Whelan, okay?
Thank you.
Well done. Okay, we'll take that from you now, Gerlin. Will you take that for her? It's fairly heavy. And let it on the dog in here. Okay. Wait a while, if you wait over there, please. Wait over there. No, I'll take the next one from you. Okay, then Joe, you can come back again. Now, the next prize winner, Carmel.
Peg Shannon from Clondrohid.
And have we Peg Shannon, please, from Clondrohid? Okay. Well done. Now, can you tell me just a little bit, Peg, about the dog? Is it a dog or a bitch?
A bitch, yeah.
And did she run well, did you think?
She did, she ran well.
Yeah.
I think if she was out there, she'd have done better.
Did she take part in other races before?
Oh, she did, in Dermemma, she was third.
Yeah, and what about the Cork track now? Would she be ready for
no,
that?
I'm only after get you.
Oh, was that all?
Yeah, so.
Yeah, but you were pleased anyway?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
And you enjoyed the day?
I did, yeah, thanks very much.
Good, well done. Congratulations. No, who's the next one?
Who's the next winner?
Was it O'Connell? Oh, the third race, Carmel, who won that?
Stevie O'Connell.
And where's he from?
Blarney.
Blarney, okay. Congratulations, no, well done. If you wait for a moment, please. Right, you'll need extra hands collecting the money. Now, can you tell me just a dog or a bitch?
A dog.
A dog. And
Yeah.
were you pleased with the run?
I was, yeah.
Yeah, was it a tough run?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, but still, it was worthwhile to
It
come
was,
to, wasn't
yeah,
it?
it was
Did you
really
enjoy the day?
I did, yeah, very much.
That's great. Congratulations. Well done. Who was running the trap? Walking the trap? Would you come up here,
John.
please?
MD.
John, what's your...
John O'Flynn.
Now, the trap here was situated at the lower end of the hill, and with me is the man that was responsible for running the trap, John O'Flynn. Where are you from, John?
Donerail.
Donerail. Now, what did you think of the standard now here today?
Yeah, it was quite good. The one was an excellent dog, I'd say.
Right.
Broke well and ran very straight, you know.
Yeah. And it seemed to draw a lot of attention, a lot of interest too.
Well, it is a growing kind of a sport, you know. It is an addition to the coursing and tracking, like, you know.
Yeah, yeah. And how often now would you be out with the trap at different
we'd
events?
be out twice a month, I suppose, nearly once a fortnight, like, during the summer.
Yeah. And how did you find this course now here
Good,
today?
good testing course now.
Yeah.
Good testing, good,
Was
okay,
it-
good pull.
The gradient was about right, was
Oh,
it?
yeah, ideal.
Yeah, they all seem to think that it was a good test of a dog too.
Oh, it was indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the hair was good.
Ran very straight.
Tell us a little bit about that hair.
That's the man about the hair. That.
Oh, we have the man about the hair. Right, can we get the man about the hair for a minute, please? Yeah. Can your name is?
Willie O'Leary.
Willie O'Leary. Tell us about that hair now.
It's especially made here. We make it and we balance it, and that it doesn't bounce too much or it doesn't fly too much.
Right.
But it takes a good while of trial and error before we got the right.
And what kind of a winding system is used on it then?
It's an alternator and a battery. It's just worked off a heavy duty battery.
Yeah, it seems very effective though,
It
running.
is.
Look at it there now.
It
going
goes
up.
very smoothly, and you see
Yeah.
it's with the reel the right size and all the way. It doesn't go too fast or too slow. You know?
Did the hill now pose any extra difficulty compared to
none
any other
whatsoever.
course you've worked along?
The only thing is if you're a very busy day, the battery might get
Bit
a bit
lower.
slack, you know. But
Yeah.
it's only that is hardly ever happen. You want to have about 50 or 60 dogs.
How many dogs ran today now?
8 as far as I know.
8, yeah. So that's
we
good.
normally have 36, maybe
Oh, good job.
40, you know.
Yeah, and what kind of meat?
The ideal situation is a 27 dog event where you grade them off in threes. You'd have
Right.
9 runs, and you'd have 3 grades, and you'd run off 3 9s in their own grades.
Yeah.
That's the
Okay.
ideal situation.
Yeah. Well, listen, well done, and the hair was never caught anyway.
Never caught,
So,
it's-
well
can't-
done.
can't be killed.
You did a good job. Thanks very much.
Lift it up higher.
Now, we're here at the vintage car, and we have Father Michael Tewig. You were parish priest, Father, in Dunamore, isn't that right?
Yes, that's right, Barney.
Yeah, but of course you're native of Ballyvourney, is that
Well,
right?
I grew up in Ballyvourney, in fact.
Yeah. Now, you're the owner of this beautiful car here on your right. Can you just tell us the model?
Interesting, it is a Flying Standard 10, 1937. And it just had one owner, it is totally original. It had one English owner, came in, a fellow in Sligo bought it, and we got it from him. So, price in 1937, I suppose, to get things in proportion, if that would interest you,
Yes.
I presume it would be interest some people. The price was £175, whereas we'll say the baby Ford here was 110 at that time. So that should be regarded as being a kind of an upmarket car. But
Yes. Now, when it was brought in, Father, what condition was it in?
it is as it is now.
Yes.
The total original, just one English owner,
And-
and it's totally original as it was.
Yes. And in terms of maintenance now, is there a lot of work involved in
Well,
maintaining
it doesn't do any mileage, of course. All it does, I drive it to these vintage things occasionally, and that's it.
Yes.
That's it, really.
Well, I must compliment you on the condition of it, because it really is immaculate.
It is good, in fact. It is good.
Now-
Not easy to get them good, you know.
No.
Because when they're restored, they lose a lot of the restoration, destroys really the originality of the car.
Yes. Now, of course, 'tis a wonderful interest as well, isn't it?
Well, I suppose we've too many interests. Maybe I'm interested in the old tractors also, as Matty will tell you.
Yes. But still, it's important that people are interested in preserving all of these.
It is, and young people here now with this thing enjoy it, and they're in a totally different era. Because this thing now, for example, it is laborious to drive, it's hard driving. A long journey in this car would be very hard.
Yes.
Or very hard going.
Yeah. Are you surprised now at the range and quality of the cars that are here at this fair today?
There's a fair amount of cars here, but there are lots of cars in Ballyvourne a very high standard. In fact, there are more cars in Ballyvourne than any other place I know of veteran cars and vintage cars.
Well, it's appropriate too in Ballyvourne.
Well, right. Between Matty here now and Donald Scannell, Donald Lehan.
That's right. All very interested in them.
Yeah, there are, yes,
Yeah.
and
then you have the museum in Killarney as
that's
well,
right,
of course.
that's right,
Dennis
and
Lucy's
potential,
museum
so.
Oh, it does. Well, listen, Father, you've enjoyed the day.
Yeah, it's very pleasant, Penny.
Yeah.
Very pleasant. And they've made a great effort here, you know.
Yes. Oh,
and they have terrific variety of. They really did put a lot of work into it.
Wonderful.
I don't know who the basic organised of it are, but that's Maura. She is interested in this. All right.
No, right, Father. Thanks, many
Right,
thanks indeed.
Right.
No, we have here next to me Maura, and we have one of the little dogs, and I know it's Monsignor Tuig's little dog, and it's great that she came, and enjoying the day, I'm sure.
Yes, thank you very much.
That's right. That's right. So in the cars, I'll go over. Belge, is it?
Yeah, Belgian
so
Mills.
I'll a Gaeltacht dog, I suppose.
Yeah, Gaeilgean Madrin.
Gaeilgean Madrin. Tá sé sin gama, sin ar ós ar fad, tá gama. Now, right me trasna nish gudi Matthew O'Haleha, agus gur míle má gut sa leis. Matty, tá glústán gutsan, so freshen nach will.
Tá glústán bháinnig go man sonúf, train pedal.
Yeah, cén íse?
Train pedal sí blianas fihe.
Yeah,
23 years, 23 blianas fihe. Ní sé go hound in éachar, sin mar a hen siad. Want to glústán hound agat, want to níoch.
Ach fechan sé gama?
O tá sé gama, agus tamáin sé gama.
Cévéad míle tá an clígan son istí?
3 míle slídion ag an glústán san. Ní mór an éasocha.
Raibh mór an obair le déana bhán?
Ní faoin, péntáile soch déad fearrá. Bhína bhí ann, roií, roií an tórsan. Ag lena suas. A bhín anna chréibhúnta.
Nach bhfuil rá úntach an sanúil?
Tá.
Na sena glústán?
Bheas na bheach leis na glústán an sanéachar. Tá ráúntach ar fad an ceanna seánta socha ná an Royal Drayson son an Bentley necnilm. Tá cúpla glústán an gheasan sa.
Now, Matty, why did you come along here today?
I'm a founder member of the Musgrave Vintage and Veteran Car and Tractor Club, a very long title, which was founded 2.5 years ago. That's probably the main reason why I came, being involved in the vintage cars, and it being so close, I'd have to come. My second reason why I came here today is that I have a retarded child of my own, aged 8 years, and I think it would be very bad of me if I wouldn't attend here and give some encouragement maybe to the people, the organisers of this COPE Foundation thing.
Well, now, of course, the foundation itself now inside Macroom, this is going to be very important to the children that will attend there, because it eliminates enormous journeys for them, doesn't it?
That's quite correct. At the moment, my child is attending a primary school in Bandon, which is, I suppose, 33 or 34 miles away from me. Now, in later years, after she's completed the primary school and whatever else they do after that, she will probably return to Macroom, to the new buildings in Macroom, which is only 5 miles away from me. That's marvellous for the likes of me and other children in the locality.
That's right. And it also gives them a greater sense of belonging to the community as well, doesn't it?
That's quite true, because they know the town and they know what's happening, they know the shops and they know the people, most of the people. And coming to work in a place like that and workshops like that, it's only natural that they would settle down better and get on better in life.
And the committee now, the COPE Foundation committee that have worked under Mrs. O'Donoghue, they've really done tremendous work and are continuing to do tremendous work.
They put all their efforts into the voluntary effort. I can't imagine how they do it or how they're so committed.
Yes.
And each and every one of them are more committed than each other.
Yeah. Well, listen, Matty, I hope that, first of all, that the foundation works out well for you and your daughter as well. And the coming along here today is certainly a very important sign of support. And I know that everybody that has come along, they've enjoyed the day.
Yes, and they've only too glad to do so.
They were indeed.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Good meal, Margaret.
Away with it.
Där kan du på det bordet. Det är som en passion för.
John Keller and Mickey Towns team. You're getting ready.
What would you on the TV?
When we do my tour. No, again I have that. I let you put it on down. It's not Leave it down. Leave it down, Ed. Hey. Steady. Steady. Halt! Come on, Dylan! Come on, Jimmy! Get him up, get him up, get him up. Come on, lad, come on, lad.
Johnny Daly and Carla Business Street to get ready.
Yeah. 10 minutes left. Take the strain. Steady. Pull. One. Come on, Teddy. Come on, you. Come on, Teddy. Come on, you. Come on, Teddy. 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 Come on, Hugh. Keep it to the rope. Come on, Teddy. Come on, Hugh. What difference? Where are the lads? Come on, Jim! On! Anchor man up!
Now here I have the anchorman and also the coach of Mickey Tom's crew. I suppose I should ask the coach first. The coaches?
Con Cotter.
Well,
a bit of experience of coaching before. I coached a team that brought 2 Munster medals, a Heaney team one time.
And I could see you were very experienced there. You know when to tell them to pull and
Well,
they should take the strain.
I wasn't long enough watch it now. I was with the last, I'm involved in about the last 14 years.
Did you do any training?
Well, a little bit. So nothing hectic, like, you know what I mean?
But the opposition now against you here, would you say they're very experienced?
Oh no, they're not experienced. Well, some of them are, some of the pullers are, but not all of them.
Yeah, and it is very important.
Oh, it is very important to get a team to pull together.
Now, the teams that you've coached already, how far have they gone? Have they gone on to any county or Munster? Or
they won Munster medals, one's 4 Munsters already.
Right, yeah. And you're hoping to win this, I'm sure, is it?
Well, we're trying to do our best at the moment, anyway.
What class is it?
It was just a novice pull, like a novice class.
Yeah, well, the best of luck, you know. No, we're right down here, Derry Kelleher, isn't it?
That's right.
How did you find out as being the anchor man? How did you find it there at the back of the rope?
It was fairly tough there for the last pull.
Yeah.
Because we're after three pulls now, and your hands will be starting to get tired,
right.
Especially when you wouldn't be trained.
Yeah. Does it make much of a difference now to change sides?
Well, there's a bit of a fall down, all right.
Yeah.
There's a lot tougher pull when you're pulling up this way.
Yeah. And the grip is difficult too, of course, isn't it?
It is very difficult, yeah.
Yeah.
The ground is kind of soft, actually, and you kind of slide along it.
Yeah. You're hoping to win it?
Well, we're hoping, but sure, you wouldn't know. We might win. You wouldn't know, like.
Yeah, of course, the pulls come fairly quickly too. I noticed there's much of a break between them.
They come fairly quickly, yeah. And you'll be fairly tired as well after the pulls, like.
Yeah. Who are the other members of your team from the front back now? Can you remember?
You know, I could hardly remember them all at all now.
Yeah. And when do you have to pull now again?
Well, there's two different teams pulling now again next, and we're pulling in again after that.
And is that a final?
I'm not sure.
It now, anyway.
I suppose it should be, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
we're after about 4 or 5 pulls, sure.
Okay, best of luck to you now.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
No problem.
Now, here at the sheep penning competition is a very important man and a very notable man. Is John Casey from Castletown Bear. And John actually was one of the winners of the very famous BBC competition in England called One Man and His Dog. Is that correct, John?
That's right, yeah, 1987.
1987. That must have been a great experience, was it?
Well, it was a big publicity thing for me anyway. It is the television being the thing it is for darts or show jumping or all these things. It done the same thing for sheepdogs, and people got to know how dogs work and how the trials situation works, whereas they never did before. Somebody could be driving along the road and see a bunch of cars in the field and men working dogs, and they didn't know what it was about, but television explained all that to them. Right. And the programme has run now for about 16 or 17 years, and it has 4 million viewers, and it is one of the most popular things on British television.
Yeah. Well, of course, it was a marvellous achievement for you to go over from Ireland too, and to take on the best in England, wasn't it? And Scotland and Wales.
Well, I suppose there might be a certain element of luck, but anyway, I did it when I won it, so...
Well, you were too modest, I think. Now, you mentioned there about television being very important for the sport in England. I suppose here in Ireland, it hasn't got enough exposure, really, has it?
No. No, for some reason it didn't. They used to show the programme on RT, but they used to have to buy the rights or something apparently from BBC, and it hasn't been shown now for quite a few years. Okay. But somebody said today that RT are thinking of starting their own programme now and making a series of their own.
Yeah, well, that would enhance the sport a lot.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Now, you go around to different competitions all the time. You're a keen competitor, and of course your experience would be important for other young people starting out, training dogs, and to watch you at work. And you've come along to the fair here in Clondrohid. How have you found the standard now so far?
Oh, the standard is very good here today. There's some very good dogs in Ireland now, and since I started into the sport about 25 years ago, the standard has gone up and up and up, and people here has gone over to England and Scotland and Wales and bought over dogs and learned, and they're up with the best in the world now for handling stock, like with their dogs, like. And that's what the basic thing is all about, is handling stock on the farm. And farmers are getting more and more educated with it all the time. And like I was saying, that's, you know, they see on television what a good dog is able to do, and they're willing to. There's a lot of people now has caught on that the dog is not just something to throw a slice of bread at night, that this dog is a value. In a sheep farm like we have at home in Castleton, we keep about 500 sheep, and a good dog to me would be as valuable as a good tractor would be to an arable farm.
Yes, yeah.
You know.
And do you take the dogs out now? Would you take them out every day, for example, training?
Oh no, not really, no. But they'd be out at work every day.
I see.
You know, we'd be doing something
work
to sheep every day, yeah. And practically every day anyway, like, you know.
Now you see the potential of younger people here that are showing dogs, and indeed the not so young either. But I've been very impressed with the standard so far.
Oh yeah, there's a very high standard of dogs here now, and yeah, I mean the most dogs here today are come out of Munster and a lot of them out of County Cork, and they're all of a high standard. They're as, you know, their dogs are able to go anywhere now.
Would they compete with some of the English dogs that you make?
Oh, they could do, yeah. Oh, they could do.
Yeah. A little bit more finesse, maybe, is it?
Well, maybe a little bit, yeah. But these lads are learning fast and they're getting good all the time.
Right. Now, we have behind us here, we have a shepherd working the dog. What's this man's name here now?
That man is Jimmy English, and he's from County Tipperary up in the Galties, and he has a big sheep farm up there, and he'll be one of the best of competitors. I haven't been watching him running there now, but he is a very good dog. And
he's an open competitor.
He's an open competitor.
Yeah. Now the difference between open and the intermediate, somebody was telling me that it introduces an extra stage into it.
That's right, that's right. Well, you see, your first stage is your novice dog, and that's your young dog that you bring out for the first time, and maybe in his first year, once he wins the novice competition, which is he has to go up there, fetch down the sheep and drive him up to that first set of hurdles and come back down and into the pen. And when he wins that, he's then gone out of that stage. Then he goes into the intermediate stage, and then he has to do the full course, but without shedding the sheep off.
I see.
And when he can win 2 intermediates, and then he's gone into open class.
I see.
And
were there many open class dogs here now today?
I think there's about 21 ran here today, open class.
Had you one of your own?
Yeah, yeah.
How old was your dog here now today?
My dog that ran here today is 10 years old.
Is that the dog?
That's the television dog,
England,
yeah, that's right.
Well,
that's right.
Yeah. And is still working as well as
He's
ever?
still working, yeah, but this will be his last year now. This will be his last season.
Oh, well.
I'd retire him after this season.
And have you something coming up?
I have, yeah. I have a young dog coming. I have a couple of young dogs coming on now again, so...
And are you able to sell dogs?
Yeah, from time to time we do.
Yeah.
From time to time we do.
Yeah, very good. So you're pleased with the day out here anyway?
Oh, pleased with the day out.
Yeah, very good. Thanks very much, John.
Okay,
indeed.
thank you as well.
Thanks. Now, we have here, John, another competitor. Who's this?
This man is Michael Bradley, and he's a local man here. He's just up the road here, I think, just Ballinagry outside Macroom.
Yeah. And what age would his dog be now?
I think the one he's running now would be about 4-year-old.
A dog or a bitch?
I think it's a bitch.
Yeah. No, the sheep have left above.
The sheep are coming out now to where the white post is.
Yes.
And they're in a good position for him to start now. And as you can see there, he's getting ready to start his dog now. Yeah. And he's like, you know, he should be letting his dog go.
No, the dog goes out on the outrun, is it?
Yeah, and he has the choice of either going to the left hand or the right hand.
And then comes up behind them, is it?
And he comes up behind them. And for perfection in judging, once that dog leaves his foot, now the dog is away now, and that dog should now go up to what we call 12 o'clock without getting any other command. Because every time that he has to say something to that dog,
he's losing points.
He would lose points.
Yes.
Now we'll watch him now, and in my book now we'll see if he was, or also if he comes what we call too tight, too close to the animals that have. Now he's losing points now because he's stopped. He's losing points now. Now you see he's commanded him, so he's lost maybe another point. He's still a little short now. Right. He would lose about 4 points off. We'll say on his go out. Then
that would be 4 on what, John?
That would be based on, we'll say, 30 points, or 20 points, sorry, 20 points.
Yes.
So then he's now at what he calls his lift, which means when he starts the sheep off, and if he's slow on that, or if he's too rash, he would also lose points. Now, he's fairly good on his lift. He might lose maybe 1 point or 2, but if he was very rash, he could lose maybe 6 out of 10. Then he's at his fetch now, which is fetching the sheep down the field. Now every deviation he has from the straight line, he's losing points. There would be maybe, some judges would give 30 points for that stage of the trial.
Yes.
So the perfect thing would be 30 points, but it's very near impossible to get.
Yes. They'd have to come straight through the
because he has a good few little turns there now,
yes.
And he'll be knocking him a point each time that that twister turns. So he could end up with maybe, as you can see there now, if it were standing in directly behind him, he would be off the straight line. So he'll probably lose maybe 6 coming down out of 20, you know.
The sheep there now would be important as well, would they? Would they have a certain...
Well, in sheepdog trialing, the whole thing is if the sheep are good to manage, but the good dogs will always come out on top. Even with good sheep, the bad dog will still make some mistakes, you know.
But the sheep seem to be very sensitive to the dog, even the dog is at that distance.
Well, there is a certain amount of, you see, border collies work by the eye,
yes.
And the amount of, as you can see there, there's a fixation with the dog onto the sheep.
Yes.
Well, that comes from the wild dog way back, and these guys that study these things out will tell you that the dog, that's the pack instinct, and it goes back to the wolf. But man has dominated the dog and channeled its instincts into use for himself. Or so these animal psychiatrists tell us anyway.
Right, yeah. No,
he's driving off now.
Driving, yes.
He's driving off now, and the same thing applies as to the fetch. He has to drive on a straight line, and it's a triangular course, as you can see. He has to go up through that set of gates there and across through the other set of gates. Right. And it's a triangular course. So every deviation again from the straight line are wide turns at the gates. The perfect thing should be, now he's losing points because the sheep are turning, going back the wrong way, and want to split off, 2 is split off. And no, he'll have lost a good few points just at that particular point there.
Now, is the dog allowed to pass through the hurdles at all?
Oh yeah. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where the dog was, as long as the sheep are in the right place. you know.
Yeah. How would this course here now that you're commenting on, how would it have compared to your own course that you took in the final in England?
Oh, it would be a similar sort of thing.
Would it?
A similar sort of thing. So television course would probably be bigger maybe, but be much the same thing.
Would it, yeah.
But then in the major sheepdog trials, such as an Irish national or an international, it's 400 yards outrun, minimum 400 yards, and the driving is 300 yards.
Yes.
So, as you know, it would be much bigger than this. But basically the same rules would apply,
Right.
you know.
Now, I suppose it's important that those sheep now should be moving along fairly
steadily,
easily, isn't
steadily.
it?
That's
Yeah.
right. That's right. That's the whole. He's too far in. Look at him from here now. He'll be offline, and he's going to miss his third hurdle now unless he's going back. Now he probably will get it now. No, he hasn't got it.
Are they allowed a second chance?
No,
about that?
no. Or if the sheep go through it and the dog brings them back through it, you lose points on the double. You know, because the whole exercise is to be what you would be supposed to do at home.
Right.
If you were going to a field to fetch sheep out, or if you wanted to, for some reason, to drive sheep from one end of the field to the other. If it's somebody up at the top of the field to open the gate and let them into the next field, your dog was supposed to be able to drive them sheep up the field and out that gate. Or drive them to any particular point you wanted to drive them to.
I see.
Or the same thing if you were up on the hill gathering sheep, you might be up on the top and you might want to drive them straight down the hill while you went along to see where there was more sheep. So that's what sheepdog trials is all about, is what the dog should be able to do at home. It's the shop window for it, to what your working dog should be.
Now, is it the shepherd or the dog separates there now at that point?
Well, the shepherd separates, but the dog should hold it off. Again, that's another practical exercise at home. If you had a sheep in the field and sheep was having a lamb and you wanted to get a hold of her and you didn't want to have to take all the sheep into the corner, the dog should be able to take the one out and hold it under control.
I see.
Until such a time as you wanted to catch it or do whatever you wanted to do with it.
Now, how's he doing there?
He's just working on it here now to get the one out.
I noticed that the length of the stick there now, I suppose it is necessary to have it fairly long, is it? When you're separating out like that?
Well, not really. These sticks, originally they came from the shepherds on the Scottish borders in the days before there were television or radio as well, I suppose. When they'd be looking after a flock of sheep and they'd be sitting in their house at night time and they wouldn't have anything to do, they would get a ram's horn and they'd start on this with their knife.
Right.
And that, as you can see, that's made out of a horn head.
Well.
And these things became a thing of great beauty.
Yes.
And as you can see, that one there is carved with a shamrock on the end of it.
Yes.
And they kept competitions also started up crook making.
Yes.
And these guys made these, and in England and Scotland now they have night classes for making them and technical schools and various things. And crook making is a very important craft. It's an old craft that goes back about 200 years. And Americans will come over and they could give you 500 quid for one of these smart crooks.
Yeah. No, you see, he's just... Oh, he's
pinning now.
He's pinning now.
And that's another part of the work at home exercise, putting your sheep into the shed or into a gate or into a yard or whatever it is. And
why is he allowing them out now again, John? There?
Well, something happened in there now. I don't know what, but he's put them back in.
Oh, yes.
He's put them back into the pen now.
And that's the end of
and
it.
That's the end of his trial now.
Yeah. How would you rate that particular one?
Oh, he didn't have a very good run. No, a lot of little things happened in there.
A lot of deviation off the line, I suppose, was there?
He's.
How experienced is he now?
Oh, he's fairly experienced. He wins quite a lot of trials.
That's it, yeah. So it can be on the day too.
Oh, well, I mean, they all can.
Well, listen, thanks very much for that indeed. Thank you.
Okay.
Now, John, the next competitor here is Robert Kelleher, isn't it?
The next competitor is Robert Keller, and he's a local man here as well from Ballinagree, or Horsemount, and he's a very successful competitor down here in Munster and in the south. He wins an awful lot of trials. In fact, he's rated as one of the top men in Munster, and this is his best dog. Len is his name. And
Dog or a bitch?
He's a dog,
A
and he
dog,
wins
yes.
quite a lot of trials. And there he goes. He's running out in the right hand now.
Are they actually a purebred dog at all, John?
Oh yeah. Their pedigree can be traced back for about 120 years.
Oh, can it?
Yeah, it can.
Yes. No, he's fetching above now,
He's
lifting.
lifting a sheep
now.
now. He's a very good start, and he's doing well now. He's taking him down. He's just starting to get him going here now.
They're a bit giddy, are they?
Small little bit. But when they come down through the fetch gates here now, they'll probably steady up. They'll probably settle up. You see, they're just getting the feel of the dog yet.
Yes.
And he's not doing bad now. He isn't a lot lost at all up to this point.
Keeping a good straight
Yeah.
line. Now, I suppose you have to design courses as well, do you? A man of your experience.
Oh, well,
Would be called
anybody
into-
can, and there's not a big thing to put up a course, really. You know, I mean, maybe for a very big trial, you'd have to take a lot of things into consideration with the field, whether you would run it uphill or downhill or
Yes.
various things like that. But
But success, of course, puts that kind of demand on you, doesn't
well,
it?
that can do, yeah. It can fellas will always asking you. And
Oh, how's the drive there?
he's doing well now. He's doing well.
How long will a dog take to train like that now?
It takes.
John,
It takes. A dog would usually start working when he'd be about 10 or 12 months old. Some of them can start younger than that, and they're usually at their best. They would train maybe in 6 months, but they'd be improving up to their 3-year-old, and a dog would be at his best when he's 3 and 7-year-old.
I see.
If he did a lot of hard hill work from 7-year-old, he would be going back. You know, he'd have 4 really good years.
Of course, it must take its toll on them too, with all the
Well,
the work that
some
they have to
dogs, some dogs are very, you know, they're bred, as you can see there, when they run out, the minute they get the word, they're gone, and they run out really hard, and they take a lot out of theirs. And they're like people; they can vary in temperament from dog to dog. You'll get some dogs, and he will pace himself, and he'll go steady, and they will obviously last longer, like, you know.
Can a dog operate with another master?
Oh yeah.
They can.
Usually, well, some dogs, but they'd be very rare, won't take it to another man. But most dogs will
They'll respond, will they?
they will respond to another man. Usually, if you sold them a long way away and they're on whistle command, you make a tape recorder of the whistles and you send that to the other man, and then he learns that before he takes his dog out.
Yes. But they'd have to be fairly young, of course, at that stage, really.
Well, yeah,
To be able to
usually
respond.
they'd be sold at 3-year-old or younger than 3-year-old, and after that, you know, people wouldn't want to buy a dog older than that anyway, you know. Or if the dog was good enough, people wouldn't be selling him.
Yes.
You know, at that. You see, you could have a very, very good dog, but he could have a fault for trials. But that wouldn't mean to say he'd be a very good dog for working the farm. He just might have a fault like that he would run too tight in the trial situation, or maybe that he wouldn't like shedding sheep.
Right.
But he could be perfect in every other stage of his work, like, you know.
I know.
So usually these dogs would get sold into a farmer, you know, and he wouldn't consider that a major fault in his dog, like, you know.
Has he separated now yet?
Not yet, no. No.
How's he doing?
He didn't do well because he missed his...
He missed one hurdle up
he
there
missed,
anyway,
he missed
did
his
he?
both his
Both of
hurdles,
them,
yeah.
the
He
both
didn't
of the wing
His
hurdles,
both
that's
his drive hurdles, yeah.
Yeah.
But usually that doesn't happen to Robert because he's very successful.
I know.
Yeah, but his luck wasn't in today. But you can see there the way he's manoeuvring his sheep, that he's an experienced man.
He is, yes.
And the trick there is to keep the sheep really quiet, you see. And now there he is, and the dog
He's
has
managed it now.
the dog is in, and he's taking the sheep out now. And that's a good shed because he has the sheep under control until such a time as he sent his dog back to get the sheep.
He's now coming up to pinning next.
He's now coming up to pinning, and that's the last stage of his trial.
Tell me, do you have any female competitors, John?
There is a few, but there's not a lot. No, there's one woman in water there, Mrs. Hellerus, and she has been very successful as well. She wins quite a lot of trials.
Yes.
But not really. There's only a few.
I know. It is nearly a male-dominated sport, is it?
So far, anyway. So far, anyway.
So now Robert won't be too pleased with that, I suppose.
No,
will he?
that's the end of Robert's trial now.
I know. Yeah. So you were pleased anyway with the standard overall?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's been a good trial.
Good dear. Grand. Thanks very much, John, indeed.
Thank you as well.
Thank
Go on, keep it going, go on, let's go on. Wait, let's watch the rest hands, come on. Come into the corner.
What's shaking them now? It's in the bubble.
Stand over. Next year. What's the name? Leave it up.
I'll tell you what.
Take it up. Watch it, watch it. Ready?
Yeah.
Ready, come ready, yeah?
Back, lads, back, get
Let's call in people, eh? Hey! Take it down there. Come. So, come down. Watch it, watch it. Watch it. Watch it. Watch it.
Well now, Ted, we're back again, and I've just looked at my watch, and it's 7 o'clock in the evening, believe it or not.
Yeah.
And you've had a long day, but a very interesting day,
Very
I'm sure.
interesting day, all right, yeah.
Yeah. How did you find the standard now, the competitors?
Oh, very good, very good. Very good.
Yeah. You were pleased with them overall?
Oh my God, yes indeed. It was there was some very good runs here.
Yes. And how did you think the course fared out?
Oh, the course was excellent.
Yeah.
And the sheep were very good also.
Yeah. Now, you had very illustrious competitors there as well. I noted there. I was talking to John Casey, and John won a very major award in England, of course.
Oh yes, he won one man as dog.
Yes.
Yeah. John is the leading man of it. But with dogs, he's doing some courses with them also,
Yeah.
back in Castledown Bear.
Yeah. So I mean, judging isn't easy.
Well, it isn't easy at all, indeed, no.
Oh no. And it was interesting then when you had a run off there at the very end, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
it was very interesting.
Yeah.
It was very interesting. It was very close. There were a lot of very close runs there.
Yeah. I hadn't known the sheep penning as a competition that well now, but I must say I was very, very impressed with it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I suppose overall at the end of the day for the judge you have to hold concentration all day, do you?
You can't check your eyes off if you could miss something, and if you would, you'd be last, yeah.
And were they fairly close together now overall?
They were, a lot of them were very close.
Yeah.
Only pints between them.
Yeah. Which of the three categories now that we saw here today, you had the intermediate, the novice and the open?
And the
didn't you?
open, yeah.
How many competitors did you have at the end of the day?
I'd say, I told you earlier in the day, I have about from 30 to 40, but I think it was nearer to 50.
Was it?
But I don't know the exact figure, but I know it was near to.
Well, tis a hefty day's work for one man, isn't it?
Well, it's what it is. It was interesting anyway.
Yeah, well, certainly without the judge, the competitions couldn't have taken place.
Well,
and I've no doubt that you have done your bit anyway for the COPE Foundation and Macroom here today.
Yeah. Well,
so thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thanks
Yeah.
The overall. Now, the tug-of-war competition has just been completed, and with me here is the captain of the winning team, and the winning team was?
Max Sullivan's Clondrohid.
Yeah,
Max Sullivan's.
And you were JJ,
Delaney, yeah.
JJ Delaney.
Yeah.
How did you find the competition overall?
Good, it was good today. Very good. We thought it wouldn't be as good like in them local things, but it was good.
Yeah. Had you rehearsed now for this, JJ?
No,
I'd
put it 3 years.
Go on.
Yeah.
But you seem to be a very strong team, though.
That's all right, like. That's for me, we are like. We were fairly even, all right.
Yeah.
We pulled together before, like, but that's a long time ago.
Right. And who did you meet in the final?
Well, it was pulled in a league. Every team had to meet each other.
Oh, I see.
So we won in points, like.
Yeah. And who was the final team that you pulled against?
But Buckley's Red Line came second.
Yeah. Did you win all? Did you win all the?
We won all the polls, every poll.
Did you?
Yeah, we did. We won the whole lot, 2 and 2.
Yeah. Now, who was coaching your team?
He's a fellow from Dunamore. He's Sullivan, I think he's.
Yeah. And were all the others then, they were from the Ballinagree area, were there?
They were, yeah. Well,
does it matter?
Right, they were Sharon from Dunamore too.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dunamore horses.
No, actually, these tug-of-war competitions, they're run on a league basis, aren't they?
They're run on a league basis, yeah. Usually are, yeah.
And where did you pull last?
Well, we had a good team there before, like.
Yes.
We pulled the Dunamore in after that.
Yeah.
But you usually, when we're out in them weights, like you pull it under weights, like up to 96 stone or 100 stone or 80 stone, you know.
Oh, I see.
You have to be the weight for it, but today, no, it was any weight, like.
I know.
Just catch weight, like.
I see.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the next one out that you go on to from here, where
I don't know where we're going next. There's something on in the farting, I don't know how the set was on, but I'm going to pull any more, and I just asked to pull again today, like.
It seems a frightful exertion on the heart.
We want 2 hearts.
I'd say
we want 2 hearts, we want a spare one.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah, but if we were training, we wouldn't miss it now.
I know, yeah.
When we used to be pulling before, we never missed the training, and we'd be flying.
Yeah.
But like when I went to New again, it was like any game.
Yeah.
But Tugwar, as you know, is the hardest game.
Oh, it is a hard game. How did you find the ground?
Ground is very good down there. Very good down there. It was a lovely spot to pull.
Good for grip.
Oh, it's lovely there.
Yeah.
What did you get?
Now, did you enjoy the day
We did
overall?
enjoy it, then.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to pull it, but it was me had pulled it. I was just, I'm happy now I did pull.
That's
I'll
great.
pull again, I think.
That's great.
All
Well,
right.
listen, well done, JJ.
Right, thank you.
And I hope you'll continue to win now.
Yeah,
And
all right.
keep it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done. Thanks
Right,
very much.
Right, bye now.
Well, now, Sheila, it's almost 7:15 in the evening.
Right.
You've had a very long day, but I'm sure as chairperson of the COPE Foundation of Macroom, you must be very pleased with this event.
Delighted with the day. It was tremendous. The community spirit here was really outstanding. I arrived here this morning around 11 o'clock and I was really impressed by the community, the way everybody was doing something. They were dashing here to make sandwiches, get everything organised, for the sheepmen coming in. It was just tremendous. You know?
Now, the assortment of events that took place here, we had anything from tug-of-war to sheep shearing, and you had vintage cars here, you had sports, you had greyhound racing. There was a whole lot of activity here today.
Right. And the fashion show, the dog show, you know, it was just tremendous. There was a great atmosphere.
But of course, all of this couldn't have taken place without the help of a whole lot of people.
Oh yeah, well I think the people of Clondrohid gave tremendous help to Pat and Terry, and I think they worked late last night and the night before, and like they will be at it again tomorrow, clearing up after us, you know. But they were tremendous, and at this stage I would like to thank Pat and Terry and the family for opening their home today, especially to us as well. You know, you could dash up for a cup of tea or anything, and they were just tremendous, you know.
I know that speaking to some members of your committee as well, that they were tremendously pleased, and it must be very gratifying for you as chairperson to find so many of them turning out to support.
Well, I was
the
delighted with the committee today, and we all worked well together. I think this is part of a charitable organisation. You know, nobody was bickering at one another. We all went out and did our little job, you know, and that's what it's all about. And we're doing it for the handicapped, the people that can't do it for themselves, and it was a great day for them. Like that, we have collected a good bit of money, and that's what it's all about. And this money will be used in the centre in Macroom, and the need is great.
Yeah. Well, you might be surprised to know that there was rain all around this particular spot here today, but not one single drop, I think.
Well, the Lord was with us. I definitely prayed, especially for a fine day. That's what I wanted. I knew if we had a fine day, everything would be fine. And we got that, so we can thank the Lord for that.
And all of the people now that we've met over the day, there was a whole lot of goodwill expressed, and how delighted they were to be present, and how delighted they were to cooperate and to contribute to this event, and particularly that any contributions coming from it would be going to COPE.
Yeah, like all the money that was really collected and made here today will be used for COPE, and like the expenses weren't that big because we got a lot of sponsorship. The Kellers, really, in fairness, they went out and they begged for sponsorship and they got it, you know.
And you got wonderful support in terms of sponsorship.
Oh, tremendous, tremendous. Like the people were just tremendous to us. But you see, the handicapped, I think really they're very special people, you know, and they deserve anything we can do for them, you know.
Well, I think very special people need other special people to look after their interests, and may I compliment you again and the members of your committee to compliment you all on doing such a tremendous day's work today. Well done, Sheila.
Thank you, Barry, very much. Thank you.
Now the sheep shearing event is coming to a close here behind, and with me is Ted Foran. And Ted, you're a native of
Glenflesk,
County Kerry.
Yeah.
Now, you had a long day judging here today. What were the different
right.
kinds of competitions you had?
Well, there was an open competition in both machine shearing and hand shearing, and we had an under-16 competition to get the youth active in this business, and there was a speed test. There was the 4 competitions that were run here today.
Now, how many competitors did you have overall, approximately?
Oh, there'd be over 30 competitors. There'd be about, I suppose, anything up to 20 individuals. But there'd be about 40 different competitors, because some competitors that compete in 2 classes or 3 classes if they were eligible.
Yes. And what about the young people? How many young people?
We had 6 and under 16, which is very encouraging.
That's good.
That there's going to be, when we fade out, that there's going to be a new crop of shearers to take over.
Now you go around to different shows and you act as judge, and I'm sure you compete yourself too, probably. But how did you find the standard here now today?
The standard here is very high, very high. By comparison with 10 years ago now, in the machine shearing, we used to give competitors 6 minutes to shear 2 sheep. Today, we give them 3 minutes to shear 2 sheep, because the standard of shearing is so high that you have to go to the time to really divide them. If you give them 5 minutes to shear, they'd be all out within the time, and they're all doing a high standard of work, and you'd end up with ties all over the place.
Right.
So you have to go to the stopwatch to divide them really.
Would the number using machine shearing as opposed to hand shearing, the number machining would be greater, would it?
It is bigger now, yes.
Is it?
It is. The hand shearing is, it is more nostalgia now to keep the hand shearing going, you know. I'd say 90% of the sheep now are shorn by machine.
Yeah. Well, of course, it's a traditional skill too.
It is a traditional skill, yes. Although the under 16 class today, it was hand shearing that was in.
I see.
You know, we didn't put them on the machine.
Well, of course, that's the way to save it too, isn't it?
Well, that's the way to save it, yeah. And it will take events like this to save this art. And 'twas an art,
yes.
You know. It will take days like this, and the young lad that sees this happening, he'll get in a bit of practice at home with his hand shears, and he'll compete then. Yeah. And
now, would the number that competed here today, would that be normal for most of the shows that you go to?
When you go further west, go into the more intensive sheep area, you'd have more. Yeah. You would have more. I think this is the first time sheep shearing has been done here, is that right?
That's right.
Yes, well, there's a lot of the regular competitors mightn't have known this event was on today.
I know.
But in a competition back in Lowbridge, now earlier this year, there was 35 individuals showed and competed as 90 competitors afterwards, you know.
Right.
Which, but I can assure you, you'll have more competitors here next year, because word will spread that there was a competition here, sure. You know.
And is there a sheep shearing association as such, or is it just an open competition?
It is an open competition, and
yes.
It's when you get a fine day like today, yes. It's a lovely, pleasant, harmless way to spend a Sunday evening, right. Yeah. In the open air, yes. And you'll find that the same people, you know, a pile of the same people follow through, yes. They follow the
and of course it's a great social occasion.
A great social occasion. We found, you know, back, we used to do this in Glenflesk 10 years ago, and we found people going, well, we had a great day.
Right.
And if you can collect a crowd of these people together, they have a great day, because they entertain themselves. Mm-hmm. You know?
Now, you're coming near the end of the day, and you have to get away to do some totting up for final figures.
That's right, yes.
But you were great to come, and the COPE Foundation, it's in aid of the COPE Foundation in Macroom, which is a centre for the handicapped.
Very good,
and,
yes.
I know that they're extremely grateful to you for all you've done for
today. I'm very happy to have done it,
okay.
And I hope that I did the job to everyone's satisfaction.
You did indeed. Well done. Thanks
right,
very
thank
much indeed. Thanks. They do. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That's right. Look up at me now again. Now we're here at the end of a tremendous day, and quietness is finally being restored once again on the Kelleher farm, and with me people who have contributed greatly to all of the various events, the organisation of them. And I'd like a word first. Marianne, how do you feel at the end of the day?
I'm very, very pleased. Everything
Yes.
went well, and I was in charge of the dog show.
Yes.
So I'm glad that
And
it went so well.
You had a whole lot of
Yeah,
competitors
I had
there,
quite a lot
didn't
of entries.
Yes.
I had, yeah. And I think everyone was pleased with their day.
you? Yeah. And speaking to all of those that came around and the people we met throughout the day, they all seemed tremendously pleased.
They were all pleased. They were.
And of course the weather then helped
the
it
weather,
greatly,
the weather
didn't
helped
it?
it greatly. It was great. It held off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now, Tim, how did you feel at the end of the day?
Very good, it's worth it all, you know. This is the makings of another good show, I suppose. And don't have more mistakes and make it a better day next year, hopefully.
Yeah.
So,
Where did you locate yourself for most of the day?
well, I was very mobile, it could be anywhere. But I was with the sheep.
On call, I
with the
suppose?
sheep mostly and getting them going, you know.
Yes.
And the sheep shearing. But, you know, getting them word up and so on. Once they got going, then they managed the way.
Yeah. Actually, both of those events, they were very, very attractive and people were very interested in them, weren't they?
Well, there was plenty of noise around them anyway, and you know, the sheepmen had their own attraction, and of course when the tug of war started, then they took some of them again, but I suppose with this commotion, there's people.
That's right. So you think there's another fair in the making, do you?
Well, we can improve it anyway.
Yeah. Well, now, the show or the fair having been held here on Pat and Terry's farm, certainly I was most pleased with the day, and I was tremendously surprised at the range of events. We had anything from tug of war down to greyhound racing, and what also surprised me was the number of people who came in from afar, people who were immediately involved in the different events, people from Ballingeary, from Glenflesk, people from Ballincollig, from Ryland. There were a whole lot of people came in, all from all around. And how did this come about, Terry? We'll come to you first.
Well, I suppose it was only asking, will you help in this sort of a thing? And then I have a sister in Ballincollig, and I had her niece here for a few weeks, and she brought on her paddles, and my own daughter brought on her paddles, and my son did. So they came from everywhere, really. I think last night they didn't get to bed until 3:30. They were below in the tent playing videos or playing tapes and things like that. But in fairness, that they worked hard all day yesterday preparing, and they said they'd get up early again tomorrow morning to tidy up.
And how did you find the day yourself?
A bit hectic at times, you know. Like, it was Terry this and Terry that, but like after a while then things settled down, and there was people came like, and they said, just, is there anything we could do to help? Which was most amazing, really. Actually, people that I never saw get involved in things said, is there anything we could help at? And they were just down their clothes and away and into work, like. I thought it was great, really.
And of course, there was a tremendous number of events on, wasn't there?
There was. I think this year now, and even some of the women remarked below in the field that last year they felt, until the Macroom competition started, that there was nothing for them. But this year now, like, there was 4 items here in the front of the house for the women itself, which was great, really. And the women came up and they sat out and enjoyed themselves. And even one spectator got her face made up.
Yeah.
Went home happy.
Good. Well, now, the whole concept in holding the fair and the contribution from it going to the COPE Foundation in Macroom, this must give great satisfaction, having conceived of the idea, Pat.
Undoubtedly so, because COPE are a wonderful organisation, and they have given so much to the people who are not, sometimes by God's will, they're not given some of the gifts which we have got. Nevertheless, what we felt when we were organising this was that it was time really for strong, able-bodied people to come together, and this is what we did. And it certainly, I have been involved in a lot of events, but I think this one was, I would call it #1, because I was very close to something here. You know, you can work in a lot of ventures and they can be thankless at the end of the day, but the nice thing about this one is that somebody was grateful.
Well, now I know from speaking to Sheila O'Donoghue, the chairperson of the COPE committee, and to some of the other members of COPE, that they were first of all surprised at the tremendous turnout. They were delighted with the day, and they were very, very pleased that the idea was put to them initially at committee.
Yeah, and we are pleased to you know, to get our own group together, and we got a great, we worked hard, we got a great kick out of it, especially when it was for COPE, and I think that this autumn fair will, I think myself that it can be built upon, you know. What we started today will probably lead to something that's going to get bigger and bigger, and this is what's going to keep us going, because we'll be sitting down again, like looking, today it was a great success. We'll be looking for, there's 50 acres of ground here, and we'll try to fill that 50 acres over the next 3 years with events, you know.
And the autumn fair idea seems to be an extremely good idea.
Well, you know, I have always been, since being very young, when Father Barry came to Clondrohid with carnivals, I was fascinated by him. And all the young lads in the parish, you know, they'd all go back to Mrs. Toomey's house in the village, and how she did it, I don't know, but she had a title for everybody for the fancy dress, and then Father Barry had tug of wars, and he was a great character, and to me they're very fond memories, and I'd like to keep them alive in the countryside, what Father Barry did, you know, and followed on then by Felia's, but they have died out now, and this is why I personally, anyway, I'm very anxious, I'm very fond of country life, and I want to see this thing continue.
And of course, it brought together some traditional skills as well, Pat. Today we spoke to a lady doing spinning of wool, and we spoke to some of the lads there that were hand shearing sheep. And these are traditional skills that are very important to preserve, aren't they?
Definitely so, and you know, it's our young people can see what was on display today, and we're, if you like, we're not restoring history, I suppose, really, but we're representing it again.
Now, Terry, in the team of helpers today, there was a great blend of men and women all over the place, wasn't there?
There was, really, honest to goodness. Even inside now in the kitchen at the moment, they're giving teas now to the sheep shearing competitors and the final men that were in the sheepdog trials. And there's even some competitors inside now from Tipperary getting tea. But like the women came this morning to me about 10 o'clock, and it was like, what time will we be here at now, and what are our duties? And at that stage I couldn't tell them exactly what their duties were going to be, but they all knuckled down, like, you know, and they're still there, and they'll be there, I'd say, until 11 o'clock tonight.
Well, I thought overall, you know, you may have the initial aim of it having a financial reward, but there was a wonderful social reward in the day, I think, as well.
Yeah, well, I consider the social aspect of these to be very, very important, because country people and a mixture of town people together, it's lovely, and it's a social outing, you know. We didn't, right, okay, money was important, like, and we got a nice sponsorship, but these shows are more than that. You can't be cruel and ruthless running these shows. You have to be careful, like, you know.
Were you surprised, Mary, at how successful the day was overall?
I was indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very, very successful.
Mm-hmm. And you, Tim?
Well, I think it was, because in the handicapped it would be supported always, and I think that a lot more could be done for them, and the people will appreciate it more when they know what it is for, you know.
Well, now, of course, there's a big clean-up tomorrow, and the work doesn't end with today, and neither did it begin with today. And all the organisational work and the planning that went into it initially in order to make it so successful, I have to compliment you with great admiration. You have achieved something special, and you have achieved it for young people that are very special too. But those young people that are so special cannot do without special people like you all. And I hope that the effort continues, and that certainly the spirit that was exhibited here today, that spirit will continue in assisting the COPE Foundation and indeed other associations that may require that assistance in the future. But again, congratulations at the end of a wonderful day, and well done.
Thanks.
Thanks.